Shalom, Salama, Siemi, Shalom. Greetings to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world. Whether you're of the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you are a Gentile grafted into the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. I welcome you this morning. All right, family. I had to do the thumbnail. The thumbnail pick, family. It had to be done, I believe. Oh man, hallelujah. So I woke up today um and I'm watching the Weather Channel because I'm here in Tampa and I usually like to get a look right about now. I'm I would say, weather sensitive because this is the beginning of the hurricane season. And I say beginning of the hurricane season, I mean when, it actually becomes active, you start to get the tropical waves, that's coming off the continent. You start to get the lows, the tropical lows that's on the water spinning up. So, um being in South Florida, I have to take a look at those things because, those do dictate how I move, how I operate, how you just have to plan. And so when I looked at the news story on the Weather Channel of, the Florida Keys, and they had recorded a water temperature of 101 degrees. Do you realize how hot that is? 101 degrees for water temperature. That's hotter than most baths. 101 degrees. Listen, I don't even like going to the Gulf when it's like above 82, 83 degrees. It feels like bathing in pee. It's not cool. There's no cool off. So you just boiling to just, I guess, get cooled off via air after you get boiled. It's like you can't even really have fun in the sun. You can't really even have a good cool water breeze. And it's just not the Keys. That's actually all over Florida. We're talking about ocean temps, upper 80s, 90s. But what that does do is and they're not, these temps aren't going to go down. We're in the middle of summer. What that does provide, that provides the fuel for hurricanes. Yeah. I mean, look, you get a temperature of 101 degrees. Think about, you get a temperature of 107 degrees. They hospitalize you, make sure that you're drinking plenty of fluid. So think about 101 degrees. Now that sucker's too hot. So I look at that, I'm like, man, just think about what that's doing to the wildlife, especially those that, they're they're depending on reasonable temperatures. And I can believe it. I can believe it after having driven there a couple days ago. Not all the way down to the Keys, but in the South Florida. Because also the ponds get hot too, because Florida is very swampy. The gators and stuff don't like to be in the water that much when it gets hot. Trust me, I know. This is the most active time for them because they really don't get that respite that they usually get in the water with the gators and snakes and things of that nature. So I always have to kind of be on the lookout because they will try to, crawl up under some shade. And usually that shade is always, well, not always, but a majority of the time, especially in neighborhoods and things of that nature, will be underneath of a car. So that's the reptilian factors that you have to deal with here in Florida. But really, it's not just Florida, especially when you're seeing all the things going on with the flooding that was taking place a couple weeks ago in the Northeast, and now I think they finally just got out the 110-degree spell in Phoenix. I don't care. That's too hot. That's too hot for anybody. That heat like that, you don't even want to go outside. It's hard to breathe. You know what, brother T? It's funny. You said something about that because oh, my dad was telling me as he was walking around the pond where he's over at. They lives over by. It's like a little neighborhood residential pond area. He said the squirrels were trying to chase him. Now I don't know if it was for begging for water, especially you have a pond right there. But boy, I'm telling you, when it gets this hot, I think it messes with wildlife. They just get frustrated on a whole different level. But I look at all these news stories and things that's going on in the world, and you can see a lot of things happening, a lot of warnings going on, from the financial to wars potentially breaking on out to now talks of impeachment. There's always something that's there to cause an off put. Oh my goodness. Still 110. Oh, you're saying hopefully it'll get down to 108 or 109 this weekend. You know what? I'm just going to let you know. I don't think there's a difference between 110 degrees and 108 or 109. I don't think that 1 degree factor is just going to really come into play. Well, I'm glad we beat that. We ended that 110-degree streak. Now it's only 109 degrees. But it'll be 110 degrees tomorrow. Oh, I don't. All right. Well, you know, whatever you, however you want to justify, feeling better about things. That is how I have to rationalize this thing where these folks are just dying. They're catching L's. Oh, from 118 degree, man. Oh my goodness, that's Middle East temperatures. That's Death Valley temperatures. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, that's too hot. You don't even get in your car at that time. When you get in your car, you literally have to turn the AC on for like 30 minutes. And then you have to get a rag to put your seatbelt on. You have to literally have protective clothing to put your seatbelt on so that seatbelt buckle doesn't brand you. People be having all sorts of buckle brands on their arm. Talk about, yeah, that's what I pledged. Five seatbelt, seatbelt. Be having to buckle your kids on. Then you make sure that you don't give them no type of searing heat. Oh my goodness. Make a mistake, burn your kids, and guess what? They're gonna say that's child abuse. You shouldn't have put your kids in that car, that seatbelt. Oh yeah. Yeah. And the crazy thing about it is, I'm looking at the reports and it's showing really there was a man that died in I think Palm Springs. He was a Caucasian individual. And what ended up happening was he was trying to take in the sun. This is from a report I think that was like late June. So I'm just catching wind of it since I wasn't in the country at that time. Yeah, he was trying to take in the sun, he was trying to work on his tan, and then the next thing you know, because of all the heat exposure, the sun exposure, he was literally being he literally got cooked from the inside out. It was shutting down his kidneys, his liver, all sorts of craziness. And he ended up dying. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Yeah, yeah, he had a heat stroke. And so, that's a lesson, that's a tale of how things have been really heating up. And that's a tale of really survivability. And that's why they're literally saying this is what they're talking about. They want to blot out the sun because that's literally a tale of survivability. And you got to remember when you get hot, you get mean. It works on you. And I've seen that happen firsthand. This is a dangerous time. And when you get hot and you're dealing with that heat, it can mess with your attitude. When they say, the blood is boiling, for some it's unintentional. Yeah, for what we'll do, we'll sit our behinds down somewhere in the shade and just, work on that cool breeze. But, all that to say is that in this time, I don't believe in climate change. I believe the climate is changing due to judgment. That's what I believe. I believe that things are happening to places as the whole earth is being judged. That's what I believe. I'm gonna look. This is an interesting study. Yes, that's right. Thank you, Tracy Brinson. It is Revelation 16 and 8. Well, Coco G, that's the same argument we just had earlier with with our sister. That's the same rationale. It's 118 degrees, but it's gonna be 109 degrees. Hot is still hot. But does it make a difference? I don't know if it's gonna make a difference. To me, oh no, hot is still hot. That means I could tolerate that heat for 2 hours instead of three. But yeah, no, climate change gives them comfort instead of saying they're being judged. See, we would sweat a little bit. That sweat hits our skin and we cool off. And I've seen this with my own eyes. They sweat, they don't cool off. And then they get hotter and they get more uncomfortable as they're sweating. When I was in boot camp, oh boy, over 23 years ago, I've never seen so many people passing out in my life. And at that time, it was like, I was kind of innocuous to what was going on. I wasn't seeing the full function. It was like, oh, people are passing out. Well, there wasn't, any type of a demographic lens that I was looking at. But then you see the majority of the people passing out was from white folks. You would see black folks passing out because they weren't taking care of themselves and drinking enough water. And that's what happens with us. We don't. No, I didn't make that correlation, Garth. But then when you are in those extreme conditions, you try to do more. You try to be manly, right? And we end up taxing ourselves a bit more. When they're in those conditions, they don't do that much. Or if they do something, it is at night when the sun is not up. you know. But I mean, that's how I was. I didn't care. I worked out in the sun. It's like just gotta get things done. Just gotta get things moving. But then, see, when you're awake and you've been awakened and you know what you're looking at now, oh my goodness. No, I don't want to do this, especially when they're forced to do it. And it's like, no, someone is forcing you to do this and you're being told to do this. For us, we just get over it. For me, I just wear a hat, cover my bald head, and I'm on out there doing what I need to do. But in our younger days, we really didn't think much of it. And now, as we're thinking and seeing it, now we can look and tell how this thing has been developed. So you have to understand when these weather conditions are getting hot, it messes up the environment. And messing up that environment, it really does mess them up. And it messes them up not just in the environmental standpoint, but also in the financial standpoint. Because if you're not on out there getting the crops, who's getting it? Privatized prison labor. So there's conditions that are happening, and you see these conditions playing out. No matter how it's deemed sensitive, insensitive, I'm not trying to offend. I'm not trying to be insensitive, but we have to look at the realities of these things because if you don't and you have that sensitivity spin on things, it doesn't speak to the truth of the matter. I think right now, I'm gonna say this. If we were to poll ourselves and just our little sample, somebody has had a family member that has had a cardiac event that led to their death within the last 2 years. And that could potentially be 8 or 9 out of 10 people. And to further give that caveat, that person had taken the lollipop. And it's a shame. It's a shame that we can't even speak frankly. For all this technology that we have, you're starting to realize you're really not free. Freedom is a construct. It's not what it actually means. And it's sad because I'm constantly getting prayer requests. Brother Karras, can you pray for my family? Brother Karras, can you pray for here? Brother Karras, brother, and that's a shame. We see it, but we're not even allowed to talk about it. We're not even allowed to talk about how it's affected our own families. See, when people talk about, oh, it's never going to be slavery ever again, I laugh. I'm like, y'all don't even realize the factors that go on in slavery and the conditions that they're setting themselves up for to be enslaved. You don't just start wars and when you lose wars, everything's fine. No, that never happens ever in history. You lose that war, you will be enslaved. And they'll call that enslavement austerity measures. And they don't see that coming. And I think they see it coming and they're like, now we need to impeach Biden. Because why? Because we can see this thing coming. We could see this thing actually being here. They're saying things without actually saying it. That's how this world works. It's not by what they say, it's by the actions. And you have to extrapolate all the information that you can because now you realize that they realize that they can't hide what's plain and simple. It's horrible. But we're to be like, there's nothing to see here. Just keep, just, oh, they had that Netflix movie, Bird Box. It's like Bird Boxes. Don't look. And if you're able to look and we see, the death and destruction, then you're going to promulgate the death and destruction. And so it's better to not look because everything's bad all around, no matter what, no matter if you see it or not. That becomes a problem. Because for our people, naturally, our people, we look, and naturally, our people will talk. Because as much as we don't got any sense, that is actually our strongest point. Our strongest point is honestly our lack of having a filter. Because we will let the truth be known no matter how whose feelings it hurts. That's how that's how our people do. And then they look at us with an astonishing look. Did they really just say what they really said? And then we look back and we said, "Is it a lie?" Well, it's not a lie, but I just can't believe you actually said what you said because I mean, but it's not a lie, but we don't say things like that. And then we look back and say, "We do because we'll speak the truth." Yep, we have the expressions, we have the language. Look, we put it all together. That's how our people do. That's how we are. Give me a sec. Give me just a second, fam. All right, sorry, family. I'm back. I'm back. I appreciate you all. Patience for these 30 seconds. Had to get the dog taken care of real quick. My road dog, my I am legend dog. But like I had said yesterday, I'm a glutton for punishment. Let's keep it cordial. Let's keep it respectful. We can tell the truth, but we can also be respectful about it. That was directed at Rojo. Shout out to brother Rojo. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So I have this here. Oh, it's in the chat. Oh boy, family. I haven't. Well, no, I haven't. I had it for Quest 2 Night Africa Fridays, but I haven't really had that for right now. So, I would just say, look, let's be respectful, okay? Let's do things with the love of Yahusha Hamashiach, okay? Brother Rojo.
Hey, what's up, bro? Karens. Hey, look. First and foremost, I got to give you some big props on everything you're doing, and I cannot wait for those for that merch to come out, and that's what you mentioned yesterday. So I'll let you spearhead talking about that. But man, let me tell you, I have some current events for y'all's behind.
Well, the crazy thing is, I just saw the trucker in our brother that was pulled over in, they said, like, Circleville, Ohio. Now you know that sounds like a good old sports spot. Circleville.
So, hey, that sounds like Try that in a small town type of town.
That's exactly what it was. It's like, oh man, like you need to just stop when you get into Columbus or Cleveland. You know, like I wouldn't be stopped. Look, you get stopped in Circleville. You know, I'm glad that the brother was actually able to make it out alive. But you know, even the officers, when you see the officers on there, the state troopers are like, "What are you doing?" They're like, "Don't release the dog. Don't." And you know, because now they even understand they got problems and they can't police themselves. Do you get what I'm telling you? They now
Hmm.
know they can't police themselves. So now who then polices them? And I looked at that and I'm like, yo, this place is getting ready to be destroyed. Because when your wickedness is that exposed and you can't do anything about it, it's like even your own people are like, don't do it. Don't do it. Ah, I got to. Like, man, that's purely demonic. And
That
all I could say was like, yeah, we're close to this place just getting destroyed.
what brother? Do you know how many death threats I have against my life on Twitter because of what I tweeted yesterday? And I don't mind. I mean, hey, bring it on. I mean, I don't miss. So if they come, they just got to realize I have a high accuracy percentage. But anyway, you remember when they were? I can't remember that cop's name in Ferguson that you know deleted Mike Brown. I cannot remember that dude's name, but they had a happy alive day for him every year. So guess what I did? I didn't do it in hate. I did it in love. I do everything in love, even if it's given in the same measure. I return it, give it back out that way. I did a happy alive day for Michael Bird, the Capitol police officer, that hero who had to delete Ashley Babbitt because he feared for his life and he feared for the lives of those he was protecting.
Here comes Rojo coming on in here. And you know what though? They wanted that brother like gone. You know what I'm saying? It's like he done shot. They didn't even care about the circumstances of why he shot that white woman trying to break into the Capitol. They were just mad that it was a black man that shot a white woman. Isn't that sad? And like for a couple days, they weren't releasing that. They didn't want to release that. And it's like you realize that that's breaking and entering. You realize that they were literally storming the Capitol. And who do you think they have patrolling the Capitol? You know, it's a bunch of black folks. Go to Capitol Hill right now. Go to the Capitol Hill police force. I guarantee you on that roster, it's probably like at least 60% black folks. And especially in government and government security, please. Now, I'm going to say this. The reason that the white lady did get shot is because she confronted a brother. And to be quite honest, let's just face some facts. To be quite honest, give me a second. Uh-oh. I would say that if she had confronted police officers of her racial demographic, she wouldn't have been confronted like that. She would not have been dealt with like that.
They would have been looking for a majority speaker that day. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
That's what happens when you act like a thug.
Well, you play stupid games, right? You win stupid prizes, right? Well, and unfortunately, right, she should have just pulled herself up by the bootstraps and stopped trying to blame everyone else.
Yeah, just comply. Don't break the law.
Follow lawful commands.
Yeah, don't break the law. Jeez.
Back the blue, the thin blue line.
You
I
I
know,
don't know
mean,
so
why.
who
bad.
who are you gonna call if we don't have police? You're gonna have to call crackheads to protect the Capitol.
Well, hey, little bro, Garth, crackheads, that's a thing of the past. So now it's the new thing. You got to call meth heads to do it now. Meth heads and pill heads, and let them come out there. You ever see that movie Day of the Dead where those zombies are shooting machine guns?
I saw Shaun of the Dead. I didn't see Day of the Dead. I saw the comedy, but I didn't see the original one. Unfortunately.
No, Day of the Dead with Nick Cannon. Watch that one. Those are the most athletic and well-to-do zombies, but they're still zombies, and they should be handling firearms. I'll just leave it at that.
So what's going on then? What happened?
We're just talking about we are just talking about the lady at the Capitol, and Roger was explaining how he had a friendly um, conversation with people on Twitter about it because they were celebrating or championing what is that guy's name? It was something Brown.
Darren Wilson. Out to shout out the lady who did that. Shout out to Angela Caraway. She's the one who put his name in there. I can't even say his name without cursing. So yeah, him.
Yeah, that dude. And then we were just saying that he just said, "Oh, I celebrated the alive day of the officer who stopped that lady from entering the Capitol." So you know, when they go low, we go lower, right? Isn't that how it goes?
Oh, so we're playing limbo now. Limbo dancing.
Chantel, it gets better. It gets better. It gets better. It gets better. Cause I'm gonna let you know how cold of a brother I am and how we all need to be. Karis, you remember that? I know you know
Yeah,
that
yeah. Go
that
ahead,
that
go ahead.
that dude named Greg, Greg the homie, the one who came on that suspected Dub S, talking about how black men are allergic to fathers and black people in general. We are
Oh,
thugs.
I heard that. Mm.
Yeah, yeah,
It,
yeah, yeah. And then it
it,
came on out that their community actually had higher
yeah,
rates, proportional to that community of, fatherless homes and things of that nature. And, it's funny because they project onto us, and it's like,
Mm.
you realize, if they wanted to go all the way in and have a breakdown of, they cloned Tyrone, right? That's not really science fiction. That's really not fiction. That has all been proven that those were all government programs that
yep,
they have done. And it's been proven.
So,
So it's not necessarily, you know, anything that's a ha ha he he. It's actually, no, these are everything that's been done. This is all the stuff that's been proven. It's on out there. It's highly redacted, right? Of course. But they'll tell you, no, this is how we did fluoride. This is how we did radon in the black community. This is how this black community had all these higher rates of cancers and things of that nature. Because no, we actually did do this to a community in St. Louis. No, we actually did do this to a community in Philadelphia. No, we actually, all of these things that is literally there, and then they go crazy because you know we're telling them the truth. What do you think they're trying to do in Jackson, Mississippi, with redlining voters so they can't even vote in a town that's
Mm,
like 80% black?
black, yeah.
Oh, this is a special
It's
district, and they can't vote in that special district. Have they heard of the U.S. Constitution or whatever what's supposed to be the U.S. Constitution? And the funny thing is that look, all they're doing is showing their hypocrisy at the time of the end.
hmm
It's the
you
time of
just
the end, and they're showing their
you just
hypocrisy.
Well, you better
you
watch
know
out for your
what's really
town,
funny
Karis.
though? You know what's really funny though is that, like you said, everything that they have on them, they try to put on us. It's all manufactured. It's like what Benea brought out with their genetics, having and they're more likely to suffer from diabetes and certain other ailments. So what do? They remember at the end of the day, they brought us over for a reason. That we weren't the first ones they tried to enslave and try to build up their nations. We were just the only ones that had the strength and the capacity to actually do the work. They couldn't do it themselves, which also leads me to another thing. You see that Ron DeSantis creature? Um, the notion that he said about how we how the slaves they ended up it benefited them and everything. That is the most stupidest thing I've ever heard. It's so stupid because it's like the,
Hey, Sister Chantel, you're coming in low. You're
oh,
coming
can
in
you not
low.
hear me? Can you not hear
Yeah.
me? Hold on.
Is it really now? We took you baboons out the jungle and gave you structure.
It,
Yeah.
it gets even better. After you finish Chantel, I'm gonna tell you something
No,
that
I
both parties
haven't.
did. So go ahead.
I was just gonna say that what I found fascinating is the fact that they're saying that, but it's like then you guys have got to be the most dumbest, your ancestors and you as well for saying this. You have to be the most dumbest people on the face of the earth. You see, when people take people from their nations, especially for a spoil and for booty, they always go after the best and brightest. Nebuchadnezzar showed us that. There's so many
Bingo.
instances in history that show they don't go for the crappy, I don't know, I don't understand, ooga booga booga
Yeah.
people. They
They sure
go for
don't.
the best and brightest.
They go
They
for
Ooga
the
booga
best.
booga.
because here's the thing, yeah, though. It's like
Excuse me, Sister Chantel, that was culturally inappropriate for my channel.
Yeah, that was very
Okay.
triggering. I feel offended.
I'm offended right now.
Me
Ooga
too.
uh,
booga.
What do you
Ooga
mean
why
by
do
booga.
ooga
you
booga? Who makes
Ooga
that
Booga
noise?
is
What?
not
Ooga
us.
booga.
Ooga Booga is not us.
Clarify.
Ooga
We
booga.
didn't live in caves.
What
Ooga Booga
dialectic
is
is
them.
that?
Ooga Booga is not us. We did not. The original languages came with us. They were the ones that couldn't read and everything. So don't get offended.
Hey, hey, Chantel. I think I saw about 100 people leave Karis's chat right now.
They said they're lucky that volume is so low that they couldn't hear that ooga booga.
No, 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 no. See, that's what I said at the beginning. Who did they everything about them they put on us? I went to the British Museum again, yeah. I like to go there because I like to compare history with Bible. And I'm literally
No,
seeing
listen,
in the
listen,
European
listen,
section.
listen, listen, listen. Sister Chantel, you need to tell them the truth. Sister Chantel, I'm gonna tell y'all, okay? Sister Chantel is gonna do her warmonger. Sister Chantel is the female version of Killmonger. She said, when this all goes down, I'm going over to get my ancestors' stuff from the British Museum. She already showed me like how she's gonna plot
Sister
to
Oh,
get a
you
gang
Chantel's
best
of
be like,
believe.
goes up to the exhibit, talks to one of the people there. So where did you get this? Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Uh huh. Because
Hey,
Mm-hmm.
this is
Garth. Hey, Garth. When you see Chantel doing that funny dance and spinning around with her skirt flying, and she's swinging that spear, and she says "ooga booga," hey, that's the word. We got to go take them all out.
No, no, no. I told you. I said already. Ooga Booga is not us. Ooga Booga is them. What I was trying to say to you is that I literally saw a picture of they were showing a pot that they would use to cook, and I'm seeing in the picture they showed that they were living in mud huts,
Huts, yeah.
and I said, look at this,
Mm-hmm.
look at this. What I'm saying to you is everything they like to put, they like to throw at us, it's them, it's on them, it's their history. They were the ones that are living in mud huts. They were the ones. I'm not saying that we didn't use certain things, of course we did, but they want to go on like as if they weren't doing it. Look, bro, you lot were living in a whole cave. You had cave
I knew
systems.
the cave was
Well,
coming. I knew the cave
well,
train was coming.
yeah.
Come on, man, the
Hey,
cave
Well,
Chantel.
didn't
well,
come, the cave has
well.
always been there.
I'm gonna tell you, but and to have that point clarified, right? They would build up cities, right? They build up their castles on the side of the side of mountains. That was a fortification effort. It was a fortification effort. But I'm going to tell you also this on the
Some of
con.
those were ours.
Yeah, and yeah,
Mm.
and because here's the thing: on the continent, believe it or not, those structures that were still able to, stand, that they weren't able to really get into to destroy. You see the architectural work. You see how things were devised in the manner that you would have a cornerstone, which means that there was 90-degree angles. That's what the cornerstone was all about, a 90-degree angle. So things can be partitioned, so you can have rooms, right? And how that architectural capacity was still there on the continent, and that predated any type of colonial involvement. It predated the 13th, 14th. It predated the 6th, 7th. So you can't say it was, Islam or things of that nature. We're talking about over 14, 1500 years ago. Because why? Because we still had that, and it's always been there, the intellectual capacity of building those type of structures. So why not go to the originals and be like, hey, show us what you have, show us what you're doing. And it's there on the continent right now. But they don't like to advertise that because it shows that, well, there was some engineering capacity, ingenuity that was there. And
Without them.
exactly. And that those their whole paradigm, out of whack. Because then they
Mm.
have to say, well, you look at you look at things like, you know, Attila the Hun, and it's like, well, you all are in like, sheep, and cow skins, building
Bleh.
your and that's what it was, so it's not an offense, but they're doing sheep, cow skins, goat skins, whatever they could. You're
Hey,
right.
hey,
And there
Karen.
wasn't really any permanent, structure. Yeah, go
It,
ahead.
it, is that when Hungary started becoming an empire, Attila the Han? Because it sounds familiar. It sounds like it's of that region. I don't
Yeah,
know.
Yes,
yeah,
and then you
yeah,
got the Han Chinese as well, who are also
I'm pretty sure
descended
that
from
they
that.
were Scythians, right?
yeah. They were all
Yes,
Scythians. Yeah. So if you look at how that all goes, right? Um, they don't like to tell you that dark period of Europe, right? And I say dark period because when you have those Asiatic
let's let's
features.
let's let's say bleak period.
Oh yeah, bleak, exactly. When because those Asiatic features, which is there in Europe, right? They really don't like to show that it's there in Europe, but it is. If you go over to Europe, if you go over to the mainland, in Germany, France, they have it there.
You
But
know where I really saw it, bro, Karis? Randomly, if you look up the people in like Kazakhstan, you really see it there. Like the
Yeah,
Kazakhstan, where they're like have this like this Russian but like Asian type like look.
all the stands, Turkestan, Uzbekistan, whatever. There's so
well,
many of them.
Well, do you actually know the history of the stands and why and what that was used for? Because I
Well,
used
I know that the female Russian czar, Tessa, or whatever, I know that she used those as a stronghold because she didn't. She always feared that Russia would be overtaken by the continent by China. I knew that.
well, let me actually explain this to you. Um, Interesting and very interesting fact. Not necessarily fun fact, but very interesting. Um, during the time post World War II, you still always had the stands as your regional buffer zone to China and Russia. You still understand the majority of the Russian population. Even though it goes from like the Bering Strait, over to literally the Baltic Sea, the majority of the Russian population is located in Europe.
Yes.
And so what ended up happening was that what the, and this is so if you understand what happened before, right? You can understand what's getting ready to happen now and what you literally saw happening and why they have Putin as have him on international crimes and things of that nature. Supposedly, they can argue that. Back in our post World War II, I forgot who was installed in our, I think it was Stalin, if I'm
Yeah,
not
it was Stalin.
mistaken. Stalin was taking those who were enemies of the Russian state, and he was literally shipping them in by the train cart full into the Central Asian states of Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan. They didn't really get as far as Afghanistan because then you get into Pakistan and all the other ones. But those stands, those countries, they were literally holdovers of, prisoners of war.
Mm.
Interesting.
Yes.
I kind of see the correlate. I mean, I
Now
kind of
that I
see
didn't know. Thanks for that,
it's
Kara.
analogous because
Hmm.
it's like kind of like, well, nah, it's just we're just a little bit further, but yeah, but isn't that where I don't know if this is controversial now, but isn't that where Tarshia is?
The Tarsus, yeah, yeah, and you have that's the elements of it. That's literally the elements of it. And
And it's
so,
like you said, it is literally just about to happen again.
Hey,
well,
wait a
we're
minute.
no, no, no,
Wait a
no,
minute,
no.
Kara.
It didn't. It's not just about to happen. That did happen because you remember the
No,
crux
I mean
of.
again.
Yeah, but contemporarily, that literally just happened like last year with a couple of folks that they had captured there in Ukraine when they did their operation. They're putting folks on the train again, and they're sending them on over into eastern Russia.
Mm.
And remember, that's that's where they were like, well, Putin's, he's on they have a warrant out for his arrest for kidnapping and all this other stuff, but it's a removal of what? Of combatants.
Mm.
No, wait. I have to clarify something. I thought Tarsus was over there, not Moscow, but that other major city in Russia. It has like a Jewish. It has like a J name.
Dun, 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 dun.
I'm sorry. It has like a J name. Ah,
Shut Harrison.
no, no, I'm not. I'm
So
not
much
talking to
for my
Jordan.
so much for my Quest Unite Africa discussion tomorrow. Okay. You, yeah.
Ah.
Let me get my sister E. Let me get my sister E.
Please stand
Oh,
by.
now,
let me
now,
let me
sister,
let me
sister
chat to
E,
y'all in the background. Let me chat to y'all in the background.
sister E's gonna cut me apart. Nah, don't sick her on me, please, please. I do not want no parts of sister E. Ah, but what's the name of that city though in Russia? I thought anyway. I thought that's where Tarshish was.
Santeria.
No, 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 no. It's a it's
I
a
think
name that
I think I know what you're talking about. It's more all right. It's I think a little north of Georgia over there.
yes,
It's over by the it's over in the car because I'm not even bringing up a map. But yes, I know exactly where you're talking about, and that's where they don't like. I'm going to tell you this: they don't like the Russians because the Russians have and they hold all the secrets.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly why they don't like the Russians. The Russians hold all the secrets, and the Russians can expose all the secrets.
Or their lies.
And the only ones that actually are able to promote, right, and maintain the secrecy is the US. And you have to understand that's the fight. They're literally fighting for the survival of the secret to remain intact. That's it. That's your war in a nutshell. So no matter what they say of this and that and that and this, you got to understand it's an information war
Mm-hmm.
because what will destroy them the quickest?
The truth, man.
The truth. Exactly.
you, Jacoba, and TCA reading out the same book. I am so impressed with you three, and because there was a witness to you, you were the witness to what the brother TCA said. Now it's getting frightening. I ain't even gonna lie to you, brother.
No, no, I'm going to tell you
Don't be scared.
I was a witness to this during my military career. I was a witness to this. Now that I've officially retired, right? Now I can kind of recall, oh, well, that's why the Most High had me there. There are some places I didn't want to be, and I understood why the Most High had me there. Oh, I
Mm-hmm.
had to see this. Okay, yeah, I definitely had to see this. I
It's
had to
only
understand
after
that.
you're living it when you see the fullness of it, you start to understand. Oh wow, that's why you needed me there. It's just like Job, not Job. Sorry. Oh, it's just like Jonah not wanting to go, but he got sent there anyway. You
Hmm.
know. But what I was saying in regards to it's going to happen again, I'm talking about from the um, from the people on your end, your neck of the woods. It's going to happen again. They're going to be shipped and dispelled and put into their servitude
Hmm.
and displaced because everything that happened to us is going to happen to them.
Do,
No,
here's actually a fun fact. Do you know, fun fact, that they could actually construct a bridge
From where?
from Alaska to Russia, to mainland Russia?
Oh
That bridge would
yeah.
only 100 miles long. They could do a road and they could do a bridge connecting and linking
But you
the
think about the
continental United
geography of it,
States. Yeah,
it's not as big as people think,
exactly. But I mean, just think
or
about
not
that.
as far, should I say?
But but think about that. They can link a bridge. Now think about the Crimean Bridge. I think there's a halfway point. You know, it's about 100 miles away, or 100 miles, but there's like literally a halfway point at like between 40 and 60 miles or whatever. That then you can go on over. It's no more than 100 miles in each direction. You can literally link a train and you can link roads. So then what would end up happening? People would literally end up being taken or carried away.
Yeah, They're gonna
and
do that long, long walk.
there was a movie that they turned into like a TV series. It was with that dystopic, like post apocalyptic train that was
Oh
going
yeah,
around. You know what I'm
Storm.
saying?
Not Storm.
Snowpiercer, right?
Snowpiercer.
Snowpiercer. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you noticed, everybody that had survived, right, was on the train, and they would be the ones forced, those that were just living, they'd be the ones forced to clear debris or anything else,
Hmm.
and honestly, there are some places in Russia that look like that Snowpiercer place.
I would be surprised. You should probably Google and see where it was filmed. I wouldn't be
It's
surprised if
crazy.
it was filmed there as well.
Like most of the cold movies are filmed in Russia, or I think also in like Norway too, Norway and Sweden, and
They
maybe
want that
Finland.
realism.
No,
That's why.
Yeah.
the cult films, the most popular cult films are Russia, Scandinavia, like you
Hmm.
said, Karis, and Italy, but like
Yeah.
some like off parts, like where northern Italy turns
Ye-
into southern Italy.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah, like the Italian Alps.
It's
The
yeah,
yeah. Hmm.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I look at that and I'm kind of like, that's crazy, because think about that. If you're like hundreds of miles in the frozen tundra, you ain't escaping.
Hmm.
You're
Where
not
would you
getting
go?
out of that. Yeah. Where's frozen 20 when it's frozen 365? That's crazy.
I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy,
No, I wouldn't either. But
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 it's
I
gonna
can.
happen on our worst enemy. So,
Yeah, the Siberia, but yeah, but they and it's bad living. It's I think even right now, I think it's just getting towards the freezing point, but it doesn't. There, that
oh
permafrost is there thick.
my gosh, Karis, you realize that's gonna be there. You know how they sent the worst slaves or the rebellious slaves to the Caribbean?
Hmm.
They're gonna send the worst slaves to Siberia. They sent us to the sweatbox. They're gonna send them to the refrigerator, to the ice box.
Well,
Wow.
I kind of looked at that. I was kind of thinking about that the other day, you know, and you know how they always like to have, realism of, a fantasy, and trying to mix fantasy and prophecy with
Hmm.
certain things, right? And I couldn't help but think about like Game of Thrones when I was thinking about that the other day.
Bro, I literally was about to say they remind me of the Snow Walkers. I won't say the real word
Yeah.
because I
You
don't
get
know.
what I'm telling you? The army of the dead.
Hmm.
Hey,
How did
Karis,
they get there? You know what I'm
hey,
saying?
Karis, I need to ask you a question because I don't want you to think I'm sounding crazy. And if I am, check me, let me know, put me off the stage. That's fine. But I got to ask you a question. I believe in the Most High and His angels, His watchers, are now, enacting supernatural interfaces for us to have, to witness. Do you do you personally believe that there are rakes, possibly, and skinwalkers out there?
I
Like
do.
I do too. I do too, sister. I just have to be real. I do. So if y'all think I'm a quack, that's cool. I've just been.
Okay.
Nope, I believe it. Why do you think they
Think
clone
I'm
people and
crazy
make
if
all
you
these
like.
things?
Exactly.
Rojo, I don't believe you're a quack. Go ahead and take your ginger ale and your
That don't sound.
medicine.
That don't sound at
You know
all
what, brother? Maybe
convincing.
you should just take a break and lie down.
I don't think you're a quack.
It's
No. While he's
Hey,
secretly
hey,
nodding
hey,
his
Hey,
head.
hey,
you know
see,
what,
Rojo,
brother
Rojo.
Rojo? I have this nice, comfy jacket. It's white.
it,
You know,
it's
you might
just.
like it.
And listen,
Rojo.
see,
And
Not
you're
with a bug in the rug,
are
man.
you in a place that's all white with padded walls,
well,
and
well, I
you know they
well,
give you a laptop, you know,
de-
and internet.
dealing with you three, I'm about to be in there.
He uses his tongue to type, you
Hey,
know?
I see little Hebrew bro with the white pretty little jacket. I see Karis with this needle saying that I'm sick, I need to feel better, and I see Sister Chantel with this rag that with this wet spot in it, and it smells very pungent.
What?
What are y'all getting ready to do to me?
Pungent? Me with a pungent rag? You're confusing me with
So that's
somebody else.
Brother Rojo calling from the Tennessee State
Don't worry, brother Rojo. We just need
Hospital.
some re-education. That's it.
Hospital of the mental hospital there. Pray for Brother Rojo.
Just some
Remember
re-education.
when he married Cheryl,
MTMHI,
he
Middle
never gave
Tennessee
back
Mental
his
Health
name, you
Institute.
know?
He's giving us
Randy
longitude and
Tracy
latitude right
never
now.
gave back his name.
Oh, man. If you'd like to help support Brother Rojo with his electroshock therapy,
Hey,
Means
hey,
small
hey,
donation
I,
can help
I, I need
Brother
some I need
Roger.
some adrenaline for my saliva glands. Those electric shock therapies drive my saliva glands up. I mean,
yeah.
it's coming out like snot now. It ain't
Quest
even
to
wet no more.
re-educate brother Rojo.
Mhm. That's gonna be a hard lesson.
Oh, Brother Michael, shalom.
Shalom, brother. How y'all doing?
Oh,
Shalom, brother Michael.
we're jumping from topic to topic because the I would say conspiracies abound. I think they're trying to now have some truth injected, right? Well, if it's
Use
gonna
your
be
words
exposed,
wisely.
yeah, because I
Whoa,
mean,
injected, brother Karras. You gotta track that.
well,
Inject.
yeah. So like the other day, right? The White House, or yeah, not the White House. Congress was having its inquiry on like UFO inquiries.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, come on now. We know that days of Noah, these folks are going to be coming back on out and everything else. Like whistleblower tells Congress government concealing program that captures UFOs, non-human bodies recovered, all this other stuff. Look, and they're telling us that we're crazy because we read the Bible.
Hmm.
We're crazy because we read the Word. We're crazy because we read Acts, right, and Galatians and Corinthians, and Paul's talking about this. These
We're
other
even
heavenly
bold enough to
bodies.
make Enoch canon.
Exactly,
Yeah, exactly. The Watchers. Oh my goodness. And I think, and to be honest, I do believe that the Watchers, they're here. I believe that they're not allowed to interfere, right? They haven't been
Not
allowed
yet,
to
anyway.
interfere on our behalf until that time is allowed. And that's why I say I believe that there's a lot of
Oh, well, let me ask you something, brother. How many
yeah, go
watches,
ahead.
brother? How
That's
many,
a good
how many,
question.
how many watches was it in the book of Enoch?
It's 200, wasn't it?
Yeah, I
It,
believe
it, it was like 200,000 or 200 million or something like that. It was a lot. Okay, um, I know, brother Karras, you could probably pull up the verse. You remember when it said that the Most High had separated everybody in the land and numbered them according to the number of Israel?
is that in Jubilees or is that Enoch?
Ah, it's the Sefer, but I don't know which book it is. But I mean, and now Enoch, we can play with Enoch because whenever they talk about show me white in the Bible, ooh, I'll just talk about Noah's birth, and I'll go ahead and tell them to go ahead, medulla oblongata, so it won't be so painful because I know they're gonna go and kill themselves afterwards. That's just a joke, but now I can't remember the verse. If somebody could help me with that, it
Well,
that
yeah, I'm not. To be honest, I'm not familiar with the verse, but I know that in terms of the geographic areas, right?
hmm
The curse came to them because they wanted to go outside of their geographic areas. They wanted to go outside of areas that was um, that was assigned to them, and that assignment came in jubilees, right? And so, therefore, that I still look at the at you have a mixture, right? It's an amalgamation or a mixture of, Canaanites, Philistines, Palestinians, however you want to call them, you know, um, and European Japhetic groups that have an amalgamation, because nobody really knows. You could put an English person in Spain and you could put a Spanish person in in England, right? And you really won't know unless they do what? Unless they open their mouths. Same with like a French person and a Parisian in the UK and a Londoner in
well,
Madrid. You
you
just
know that
don't know.
you know that the Canaanites aren't black anymore, right? They've been albanized with a curse.
Hmm. Well,
And
you also have to remember this. Now, this is actually what's happening right now, in this day and this time, presently, especially here in the United States. You now have immigration of refugees, especially refugees coming from Eastern Europe.
Hmm.
And these refugees, when they come from Eastern Europe, you have to understand there are private organizations that provide them with all sorts of grants and everything else, that they're living for free. They're doing their thing.
How
right
wonderful is
now they're
that?
doing this right now.
I see a
Yes.
bunch of them in Jersey because that's like a hub
Oh,
for immigrants. I mean,
Yes.
I've seen a lot of. Also, I mean, maybe that's just me. I see a lot of um, Asian people in my area. All of a sudden, I don't know, but I don't know.
You,
It's
you, you know how many programs are out there for public funding initiatives and all this other stuff
I
that they
believe
get
it, 'cause-
that they get access to.
and they already are. Some of them are already working. Like I see some of them just working in different jobs. Man, I mean, regardless of if they're like at like Dunkin' Donuts or the grocery store, but I do see Eastern Europeans working and just
no,
assimilating every day here for sure.
hey, hey,
Hmm.
hey, Garth, I think Karras is trying to tell us that they're setting people in place to wipe us out. They're trying to right now. It seems like we're at the decree where Pharaoh is saying, "Kill them, just take them out." That I mean, if Karras is telling the truth about that right now, he said Eastern Europe. To me, that's Ukraine. To me, I mean,
Hmm.
I
Well,
don't. I'm,
well, I think he was trying to be subtle about it, but
I'm
Yeah,
just.
Yeah,
well,
Rojo's gonna have my platform shut down. You already know. Listen. You already know that these folks be listening. Look, you don't have Twitter turn itself to X. Twitter done turned into Mark of the Beast Communications.
And now you know what? I will take credit for that because I think Elon Musk. I kept him. They couldn't shut me down. I would get one. I could take a screenshot and show you, Karis. I have like 59 warnings from Twitter about my language and about my word usage. I don't give up. Who you think I care? I mean, the only reason I'm being cool because I'm on your stage. And I respect y'all. I love y'all. So I'm not gonna mess up y'all stuff. But I get out there on Twitter, man. Y'all will probably hate this brother. Woo, man. Ric Flair.
He says he's throwing them bows. Go ahead, brother Michael. Go ahead,
One
brother
thing,
Michael.
um, me and Kara was talking to this sister yesterday, and well, at least I did a post on what she had written, and somehow they found out that I knew the sister, and they took all her reviews down.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, I mean, I'm not speaking against what you're saying, Rojo. I mean, you do you. But now, when I seen how fast they moved on that,
Yep.
nah, bruh, it's got me on a whole different plateau. Because now, um, you think you have the freedom of speech.
America never had freedom of speech at
Yeah,
all.
right. And so here we are. All they doing is collecting data from what we thinking and what we feel. That's all they doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Everything they putting before us, uh, at least they think they are, is distractions. Majority of this stuff is distraction. All right, look here. We need to. All right, let's do away with this here. Let's bring hanging back. And if you say hanging, anything that has to do with black people, you got our attention.
Yep.
You got our attention. Affirmative action, you got our attention.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, we got to know when to say, all right, we got that right there. And we start doing things different. A lot of things also should change when you giving us a warning shot. You giving us a warning shot. Shh. All right. It's time for us to, recalculate movements. And that's what is really truly boiling down. My sister went on a vacation. She told me she went out there and enjoyed herself in New York and everything. I'm like, do you understand what's going on?
No.
You don't understand not one red cent what's going on. I said, I told my sister, get your passport. Yeah, I see they so and so, so and so. I said, you seeing it, but at the same time, you living your life as if everything is on a normal way of life. Oh, they ain't gonna, they would never drop a bomb here. United States go because they looking at the movies.
Mm-hmm.
The movies pick. Hey, we always come through. We're the brave, we're the bold.
Yeah.
They should check out Oppenheimer.
What is that?
Is that a good movie?
It's about the guy who created the. I don't know the movie, but I know Oppenheimer's the one who created the nuclear bomb.
The atomic bomb. The nuclear bomb was created until I think 1960 something, but it was an atomic bomb.
You know what, brother Michael? That's why I shut up. I listen because I'm not going to argue with you, Karis, or Oral. Really nobody. But I mean, I'll take your advice and I'll take it seriously. And, use use what you say to reconsider. But I mean, and when I say but, I'm not nullifying everything I said or anything you said. I just feel that we just need to it's finally time that we quit playing nice about how we're doing things because now they're invading our spaces. They're coming over here on us, still trying to tell us what to do. We just need to let them know where we at.
Well, here's the thing. It's not that they're invading our spaces. It's just that they're letting us know that the spaces have already been invaded, and you're just now paying attention to them being in the spaces. And the funny thing is that that's what you literally had with They Clone Tyrone, right? And we always knew that there. Look, I honestly look at it like this: it's that segment of work where if you know that you can't control the narrative, well, let's put something on out there that shows the subliminal that we know that you know that we know, and maybe that will shut you on up. And what that does, it actually creates the opposite impact. It's like, oh, well, we already knew that, and now you told on yourselves because you lost control of that. So we're going to speak even higher because you just gave us the impetus to say, well, we're doing a good job because now you had to pay attention. And because you paid attention, you spent millions of dollars to create this movie. And now we're laughing because I only spend, the price of my cable bill, the price of my internet bill. and ain't no millions of dollars.
You
Hey,
know,
Karis, have you and Michael seen The Spook by the Door?
Oh, I don't think it plays in the United States. I think I can get it. I tried to download it when I was out in Tanzania.
Can you rewind that title again? What?
The
Uh,
spook who sat by the door,
The
and it
spook?
the spook who sat by the door. Yes,
what is
and
that about?
it's. Let me just give you the
Definitely about a
synopsis
black
of it.
person.
No, yeah, and it was about a black person who was actually a CIA implant, and that was his job, was just to rat on what black people were doing in the community.
Mm-mm.
And so they didn't like the film. It's actually banned in the United States, and it's banned in the United Kingdom.
Because they don't want us to know. But it's like, what are you doing? We already know, you stupid twits.
Oh, it is
We
on
already
YouTube.
know.
Okay, thank you, Angela.
I'm sorry, you shut
It's
down.
like, you know what?
Shut down. Shut down.
You
I'm
know,
sorry.
Paris was talking about, they cloned Tyrone, and man, I'm gonna say Karis on this one here because at some time I use the word pimp a lot, and because I know there's a meaning of pimp, but now pimp is another word of saying, hey, you want to maneuver situation for your benefit.
Mm-hmm.
That's of a pimp. But if you really truly take what they did or what that brother did in the movie, they had a pimp, a hoe, and a hoop, a drug dealer.
Yep.
But now, who was the one that came up with the idea of turning the tides on them in that movie? Who's the person? I don't know if
The
you
hoe.
all.
I
The
don't know.
hoe.
I haven't seen
It
it.
was the hoe. It
No,
was the hoe.
it wasn't the sister. It wasn't the
Oh,
sister.
it wasn't her. Oh,
No,
okay.
it wasn't.
It was a drug dealer.
No, it wasn't a drug dealer.
It's a pimp.
Was
It,
it
It was
it,
the
it,
Angela
pimp.
Sitt?
It was the pimp. You remember? He said, but you're not going to like this. That pimp
Oh
put
yeah,
it
yeah,
together.
yeah. But the investigation was done by, right?
Well,
Obviously,
yeah. All
you
of them
know.
put it together, masterminded. They
Yeah.
seen everything. And so if you really look at it and you just take, let's just um, you look at this movie and then you look at reality. Now, like Rojo was saying, they just trying to kill us off. I'm gonna say this. The moment they try to kill off, let's just say African Americans, you want to see y'all stand up then.
Hmm.
So that there, I don't even entertain that.
Yeah.
I don't think they're trying to kill us off. I think they want to reduce our numbers so they can control us better.
Hmm.
This
Well,
whole
I
talk
think if
about
they
13%, I don't believe that.
I don't think it's 13%. Yeah, you're right. I don't think even the numbers itself is, I believe, wildly exaggerated. I
when
believe the numbers are wildly, because even when you do the consensus, especially in a lot of the pre-Civil War slavery states, you literally had states that had like 80% black folks. And remember, the South is still heavily populated. I don't believe their numbers. I don't believe their numbers. I think we range probably as high as 40%
Mm-hmm.
to maybe 25%. That's my personal opinion. And the
Forty
reason I say,
percent. Jeez.
yeah, because you got to remember there's a lot of us that's in jail. Remember,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't want to count
Exactly.
us in the census. And I still believe that, remember, the census is not all the way tallied yet.
No,
Because why?
they're not
Because
going
this
to
is the very
release it.
first time that they're counting prison population.
They're not going to
And
release
and,
it.
and you're right, Karis, because even today in 2023, you still have some brothers and sisters. And now, I'm only speaking of the FBA. Well, I'm not even counting the immigrant brothers and sisters that come over here. Just the FBA, they still count themselves as Democrat. So I mean, so they're not being counted amongst us. They're being counted as other. As far as when they put in their racial classification, they put Democrat.
All right, but
which I can understand that.
well, you know what? I would go with the 13%. I'm gonna tell you the reason why. If you only got 13% of African Americans in the United States, and they spend $1.2 trillion a year, or 1.9, as one brother said, from 13% of the people, and you're talking about they spend more than anybody in the United States. That's kind of godly, don't you think?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. You can make that argument, but you can also make the argument that that is a highly, proportional rate of spending money for a low proportional rate of income that our people have. So then you have to understand if you know so you're pulling money out of thin air. It's money that we're spending that we technically don't have. Yeah, I get that. But that also goes to show no, there's probably a population disparagement in terms of what is actually being counted. And what they'll probably say in the literature, because they'll try to base it on a fact, but then you read the fine print and you say then the fine print will probably come to some sort of a statement saying, while these numbers are estimates, they'll say, while these numbers are estimates, the true population has not been counted. They'll state that. They'll state that in some form or fashion. But all you get is just that topical, oh, well, we're 13%. And it's like, well, they're telling you, yeah, they're saying 13%, but not really. That's
Well,
just a number.
Karis, you worked in logistics. I mean, that was your shtick when you were in the military, or I don't know if it was in the military or after, but logistics is your thing. Does it sound, I mean, proper to you as a logistics person? Because the only as far as I go with logistics, is I go with just reading down a list and vetting stuff. That's as far as I go. Anywhere else, I'm speaking Greek. If you hired me, you probably fire me within an hour. That's how limited my logistical knowledge is. But how can we have been 13% for the past 120 years?
Yeah. Well, I was actually an analyst. So I was a military analyst, and that's why I always analyze
Uh,
things. Now I did,
oh,
So I did used to do logistics in the military for my first 6, 7 years. Then I went over to do admin, and then I became an officer. So then that put me in an analyst role for most of my career. Um, but I'm going to tell you this: you don't necessarily have that proportional growth of 13%. Like it stagnates. It's a stagnated 13%.
I,
And I think, to be honest, I believe that they use that 13% as a simple form of witchcraft.
yeah, because
Well,
the 13
All
number.
right, but listen here, because I was looking for the scripture, and I'm glad this person, Obadiah 1:2, and it said, "But behold, I have made thee small among the heathen." So that's what I'm
Exactly.
looking at, bro. We
mhm.
gonna still be small. I mean, here we're gonna be a small people in whatever nation we're residing in.
Yeah,
Hold on, did you say
I understand.
Obadiah?
Hmm.
I
That's talking
understand.
about Esau.
No, that's not Esau. That's not Esau. And I know that book is talking about Esau more so, but this is talking about Yah's people. He said, "Oh, behold, you will be small among the heathens."
Well, let's bring out Obadiah because I believe Obadiah is talking about um
No,
it is a judgment against Esau. So
yes,
when you
it
read
is. It is a judgment against
so
Esau.
when you read, okay, so here we go. Obadiah chapter 1, the vision of Obadiah. Thus saith Yahuwah concerning Edom.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about
That's
Esau.
Keep going.
Obadiah 1 and 1. Thus
All right, but go down to number 2.
yeah, well let me read that. This is one Obadiah 1 and 1. thus the vision of Obadiah. Thus said Yahuwah concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from Yahuwah, an ambassador sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. The heathen, thou art greatly despised.
Who is that? Let's talk about Israel.
Not Esau.
No, it's talking about Esau, Edom.
Because then it
Talking about
goes
Esau.
on to
Obadiah
the
1 and
pride of
1.
thy heart.
No.
The pride of thy heart
No.
hath
Hold on
deceived
now.
thee.
Hold on. Let me post
No,
some to you.
read the full scripture.
Who are the heathens?
The other nations.
The other nations.
Alrighty. So now you're saying the other nations. So now hold on. Let me go back. Oh shucks.
Yeah, brother Michael. I think that because I think to give a witness to that scripture to Obadiah's vision, that's why the white folks are having like they're struggling to produce babies now. Not only them, but the Asians are too, because the Asians, some of them might be Edomites too. But yeah, I kind of have to agree with the panel on this one, brother. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. So without going into the political ramifications, there's political ramifications to this, and I don't want to have this channel shut down because I'm not working. A job where I had been working before April. Okay, we already know that political organization, and that's what they are in its truest form, is those folks that call themselves something but are not. And I'm going to leave it like that. And if you can't follow the crypticisms, then get some understanding. That's all I can tell you. But they are small amongst the heathens. They'll let you know their population numbers are only 15 million worldwide.
And it
So
goes, why? The only time Jacob is mentioned is when he says, for violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee. But the whole of the chapter is literally talking about Esau.
Yeah.
That is not talking about, when he says, behold, I've made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. They're also despised as well.
Yeah. Now I believe when you go to Isaiah 42 and 22, right, we're hidden away in what? In the storehouses, the prison houses. I believe that's Isaiah 42:22. Somebody wants to quote me on that.
I think it's Isaiah 42 or 26. I could be wrong. So don't hold me to it. Don't.
Yeah, I know it's Isaiah. I know it's Isaiah chapter 42.
There's no 26 in Isaiah 42.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it is 22. Okay. Okay. It's 22.
Israel and Esau will be greatly despised together in the time of the end.
Yes.
Well,
both nations. Because now what's going to happen is you're going to take Deuteronomy chapter 28, the least of all people, and now you will have people that go say, hey, this can apply to Esau also if you go with this scripture here.
No, it actually doesn't, because you have to understand when you look at Esdras, right? Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning that followeth, right?
I got that.
And you have to understand who's in control of the world, right? Who is the dragon of the scripture? There is a pact that was made. We made the pact with the Most High, the covenant with the Most High. They made a covenant with, you guessed it exactly.
Hold on, brother. But this is what I'm saying though. In order for you to know a nation according to the scriptures, that's one thing we look at. Hey, you're hated among all nations. Did not the Messiah say that in Luke 21, Matthew 24?
Yeah. So what's the context here? Because
the context is you're equating Esau as also being hated just as much as Israel. So now how you want to make that the determination between these two Although
No,
you're the
no,
same Hebrew, but you're still two nations.
no. Nobody equated Esau as being hated. Esau
No,
is
Obadiah chapter 1, verse 2, you did say he would. It said he would be greatly despised.
yes,
Hated the
because
same
thus
thing.
because why? Because that's a point in time. It is a prophecy, right? The vision concerning Edom, it's a prophecy. Why is the prophecy that point in time? Because at the end of Esau's reign, that's
Can,
what's getting ready to happen.
can
Now,
I can I say something? Sorry, I
yeah.
didn't mean to cut you, but I just wanted to say when you look at the term despise, it means to feel contempt. So the other nations are feeling contempt, a deep repugnant. He despised himself for being also selfish. And we know that those are not traits that's not our traits. There's a difference between hated and being despised. When
Hmm.
you also, if you also want to understand the fact that we, yes, we are also, the Most High says, I'm going to make you small. That was during the time when we went through slavery. But then towards the end, when we actually go into the land, when we're leaving, about to leave captivity, when we're going into the land, what does it say about his the people coming back? Where did
You will be a
all this
remnant
great number?
on going back. You
No,
will
no,
be a
no, no,
remnant.
no, no. Yes, it
Mm-mm.
says we're going
Yes,
to
it
be a remnant,
does.
but there's yeah, hold on. But the remnant from what? Do you know all that the remnant meaning all those people that died that didn't have to die? All those lineages that were cut off, whether by they killed them or they turned them into eunuchs. All those are those that were cut off, the ones that died in the sea. These we are the ones that remain. But when we
Hmm.
go back, we're still going back in a huge number because we're coming from all over the earth and the land itself. It says it. I can't remember if it's in Ezekiel, but it says that the land will be like, from whence did all these children come from? This vast number. So
Hey,
you
hey
have
Michael,
to, like Kara said,
brother Michael,
I was just
she's
going to
right.
say what.
Oh no,
Okay,
go ahead.
sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm
No, I
sorry,
was just going
Chantel.
to
Go
say
ahead.
what Karis was saying. It is about reading in context and reading. You can't just pull something out and just say, well, this is talking about this. The whole chapter is literally dedicated. This is literally about Esau. It's not about anybody else except for when it references Jacob, when it tells Esau, because the report is given to Esau. And they're literally overhearing. They've heard about this report, and they're literally understanding that this is what's going to happen to them. And then the Most High tells them why they're going to go through this, because of the violence that they did to their brother Jacob. And then it talks about it starts talking about towards the end about how Jacob is going to come in his fullness and so on and so forth. But all of that is literally talking about Esau.
And the key difference about us is we're persecuted in every nation. Esau isn't persecuted. He's on top. He has
Hmm.
his dukes and he's ruling.
Yeah. Yeah. Understand the banking system. You run the banking system, you're running the world. And that's exactly what's happening. Now you understand what's going on with
You,
bricks and why
I
they want
think
to
what it
have
is,
bricks.
you're looking at you're saying that these people are despised, hated just as much as us.
Well, who says?
That's what you all saying. I mean, he's
No,
in the book of Obadiah.
no.
Yeah. We did.
That's okay. Yeah, there's some context there to the reading. The reading is prophetically when that happens, what is being uncovered at that same time. Now their shame is being uncovered. Their shame is now being see, they haven't they've been able to do what? To hide themselves. They've been able to operate without any type of, folks questioning them. Our awakening is causing them to be questioned. That's what's happening here. This is the time that these things are happening. Now, because they have provided a context, a script of what and how people should look at things, when you delve into the matter of what they have done and what they say, a lot of things don't add up. There is a lot of idiosyncrasies there from their population groups in the 1800s, late 1800s, to their population groups in the 1960s, that there was only a 200,000 delta in terms of what numbers they always quote. So that is the question. That's always been the setup. So we have to understand now this is their final really set up their final time that they can really do something, because now they understand, well, what we tried to provide isn't necessarily working out, because these folks are going over to the libraries in Europe. They're looking at microfiche and microfilm that we thought was just hidden away, and they're looking at all these historical markers, and we're getting exposed. And that's why this exposure is hurting them. Because why? Because now people are beginning to question, well, who's really who in the zoo? Are you telling
Exactly.
us that these black folks that we have hated on are actually the people? Well, then
Look
where
how
did
they
you
went
all
on
come
with
from?
Kyrie.
Exactly, because that's the whole question. Where did you all come from in this? So now these are the conditions that they're dealing with, and this conditions that they have made because of what? Because of the violence that they perpetrated on us. So
And
they could do what? So they could get the birthright.
without saying no names, but the bear is making their books public knowledge to anybody who wants to go and look. I
Bingo. That's the whole case with Russia. That's
What
why they
Rome
don't like the
didn't want happen.
iconography. That's why they don't like Russia. That's why they've always hated Russia. They've always wanted to take Russia on out, because Russia was always doing its own thing. You see what I'm saying? You can train
Mm,
the other bird nations, because the other bird nations are Confederate, but but they couldn't handle the bear, and that bear knows all the secrets. That's why it was no secret that as soon as you saw in February of 2022, right before Putin went in to Ukraine, he had and was standing in front of the Russian iconography, which depicted black Israelites.
No, that's
yeah,
AI art.
he
I
posed.
refuse to accept
He
it.
posed.
Hey,
He
hey,
He
hey,
posed
hey,
for
posed.
it.
Michael, Michael, if you read the benediction in Saint Jude, it'll help clear your mind, and the ruach could work a lot better, because I read that benediction almost every day. I got to. I mean, like that. Actually, I read the whole book of Saint Jude. It's not a really big book. I mean, it's what, 1 or 2 pages, Karis, if that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's only like 3 chapters of Jude, 3 or 4, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
yeah, 3 or 4, and I mean 30 minutes. But if you read the whole thing, you're gonna get to the benediction, and it's sometimes best to say that one out loud. Just to say that with your mouth. And I mean, I don't know. It helps me with my research and my studying whenever I do meditate and get
What
into
does
the
that
word.
word mean?
What's that? What word?
Benediction.
Benediction. It's more. It's just like a giving a credence. Giving thanks. you
Okay.
know, Acknowledging and letting them know that you do revere him. I mean, a lot of people think that just because you revere someone, that you're scared of them, which technically you are. But let's say if Karis taught me everything I know about fighting, and now I'm going around knocking people out right and left or whatever, but Karis come and talk smack to me, and I stand down. It's not that I fear Karis like a coward. It's I revere him. He taught me everything I know. He's probably going. If me and him squared off, he's probably gonna know what move I'm gonna make before I make it, and he's gonna counter it and put me to sleep. So, I mean, it's just all about a respectful, reverence, to those that are greater than you. That's all.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, Sister Corinne. Yeah, the Book of Jude is just one chapter. Um, Sister Deborah says, yeah, they are making their books in museums available. That's not something that the West wants to have happen. And, Sister Deborah also said she has copies of pictures on her website and the pictures of Israel on the Egyptian walls. And you have to understand back in 2019, 2020, they were mad because the Egyptians, this is the Egyptians now under President El Sisi, he allowed for the tombs to be uncovered live,
Publicly, yes.
live, without any type of um oh, they, what do they always try to say, they have to make it presentable for public viewing, basically whitewashing everything. And when those tombs got open, it's like, oh, these Egyptians are black. These Israelites that were here at this time, in the servitude, because the Israelites were covered up. Oh, these folks are black. And that sent them in a panic and things of that nature. They actually wanted to sanction Egypt. They did. They wanted to sanction Egypt. They were trying to get the European Union and the West to sanction Egypt. And it's like, you're making too much. And if you're doing too much, then guess what? Then it's going to work in a negative manner. And so they had to be quiet.
Hey, Karis, can I ask you a question? Because
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to make it seem like I'm assuming something. I definitely don't want to be wrong, but I don't want to say too much on your channel because I respect your situation. But didn't Egypt? I don't know if it was Mizraim that was exposing the Greeks in the coffin text for the N word. And when I say N word, I mean necro, and then you know what comes after that.
Oh, the Book of the Dead, yeah, that whole thing. Honestly, I haven't really read the Book of the Dead. I don't, to me, Egyptology and those that want to go into the Kemetic, they have so
Hmm.
many holes that have to be filled in by the Bible.
No,
You
no,
get
they
what
do. You're right. You,
you
you you're
know?
right. Hmm. Yeah. No, no, but I just like the way they expose the Greeks in that because I don't want to say that word. Okay, necro, and then what they say about people that the map people, the one that like kids.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
and yeah, and I'm not going to get too deep into that, but
yeah,
you know, obviously everybody had, they looked at the Greeks as the Greeks were always going to try to bear down and prey upon their stuff, right?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
of course, if somebody's always coming through, raiding you, and stealing stuff from you, you're going to have a bad, connotation of them, and it's going to be said in a negative way. So I don't really, it is how it is in terms of how they describe, the folks there.
Okay.
Um, you know, you know, um, and then eventually they got conquered by them, right? So they were getting mad, and then eventually got conquered. You see that with Alexander the Great,
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
they still stayed, and honestly, to this very day, they remained a vassal state of Europe, which is to this very day. That's why.
Are
Um,
they? Hold on, wait a minute. Egypt is I mean not Egypt, but Greece is a vassal state to Europe. Really?
no, Egypt is a vassal.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that whole northern. Okay,
Uh
like
huh.
you had the one Arab president, I think, in Tunisia, that that doesn't like black folks or had some
Oh,
disparaging content,
yeah,
comments, and
yeah,
then you
yeah.
also had what you had, Egyptians, going crazy about what Kevin Hart said because they're black. Well, you have to remember, and I've been to Egypt like 6 times. I've seen Alexander, Cairo, so I've seen their major population centers, and in their major population centers, right, you have a substantial amount of black folks. And you don't have a lot of, light skinned Egyptians. You just don't. And outside of those population centers in the rest of Egypt is black folks because black folks are doing the agricultural work.
Look at Carrie. I don't mean to cut you off. How are we gonna do this today? How would you go? The meeting. How are you go? Just put it off for tomorrow.
No, our meeting's at 11. We're good.
11.
Yeah.
Who you mean with?
No, that's us. That's our sync meeting. It's at 11.
Oh, I thought you had it at 9. All right.
Yeah. That's 11 a.m. Eastern. Yeah, but yeah, sorry, family. But getting back to that, that's why they're mad because why? Because in Egypt, traditionally, Egypt is really a vassal of Europe when they're a direct vassal of Italy still. They've always been. What do you think these wars get launched at that go into Ethiopia? That
Oh,
have
see,
gone.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yes. Yes. It's just that it's not
Exactly why
very
the Egyptians look the way they look.
exactly. And that's why they don't like to really disclose all of their secrets, right? You can't even take pictures of the museums of the Egyptian museum. They tell you, please no photography. Why? Because it exposes too much. They're not dumb. They know what it does to them because why? 90% of their culture is black and 90%, of their people being black. Well, guess what? That creates a problem for that 10% ruling elite class.
See,
And
Hmm.
it
that's why
is and it is
that's
a ruling elite class.
I don't
That's
like
why
those
you
three
said.
letters. And you know those letters I'm talking about. Am I allowed to say that? Without
N-
getting a strike, the
no,
U. No, no,
no.
the okay, I won't say it. But that's why I don't like those. And I'm not talking about those people that y'all think we're talking about. I'm talking about the people right beneath them, the conglomeration. I'll put it like that.
Well,
Yeah.
well, we gotta remember how the Confederacy works. This is now it's their world, but it is really technically their world coming to an end. That in all technical considerations, they see it. Why is their world coming to an end? Because their mammon, right, their system of control, which is money, is now being threatened because you now have a gold backed system. Who was that technically favor? Let's see. Let's just understand. Who does that technically favor?
Africa for one,
Bingo.
Yeah.
India for another.
But you get what I'm telling
China's
you?
definitely got theirs.
But you get what I'm telling you? It actually moves everything out of that Babylonian enclave.
Do you know something? It literally comes in play to, Deuteronomy 28, where it says, "You will be the tail, not the head." Now it's
Sister
literally
Chantel, did your
saying,
mic up?
yeah, it's all the way up. I don't understand. I think it must be the connection of my headphones.
Sound like you
But
you
can
sound
can
like you in another bedroom or something.
no? Can you hear me now?
I mean, it's still the same.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my
you're not
gosh,
coming in as clear.
I've literally got the mic. I'm holding it right to my mouth. Um, yeah, I'm just saying that it's like in Deuteronomy 28, where it says, "You will be the tail and not the head." We're now seeing the reverse. All those who were at the bottom, because they systematically made the nations that are underneath that equator, they made them poor. Like
Hmm.
obviously South America, Caribbean, Africa, the continent of Africa, everyone except for obviously Australia. But when you think about it, these are the ones that actually have the riches, that have the wealth, the resources, and that's why everything that they're doing, like you said, is a form of witchcraft. Their monetary system is collapsing because witchcraft or manipulation, which is another form of lies, can only be sustained for a certain length of time before it starts collapsing in on itself. Just like a house of cards, or just like lies, you tell one lie, and then you're telling another five more to stack up that one, and then another 10, and so on and so forth. And this is what's happening. Everything about their system is falling down, and it's literally as if the natural order of things is being corrected.
Mm-hmm.
They've got resources. I mean, they've got what, coal and potatoes and a little bit of silver and maybe some what's it, lithium, I think.
Hey, they got they,
Correct me
they,
if
they
I'm
got cotton and corn too, sister.
Yeah, so
They,
they've got
they,
some
they
stuff, but the problem is you're dealing with a dragon spirit, because they want everything they survey, they want. Just like I was saying yesterday, Karis, did you see that video with that Germanic man talking with his um, teal color hair and his dirty, grimy beanie, talking about how he wants access to different spiritualities that nobody has a right to gatekeep, because that's, if you do that, you're racist. Like what this man wants, he wants to have access to call on the ancestors, quote unquote. Now we know what they're dealing with, but let's just play the stupid game. You want to call on, you want to step in, draw yourself a little circle, whatever they do, and step in that circle and call on this deity, this ancestor, the same ancestor that your ancestors just killed, and you think you're gonna call on them and get power. Like, when the Bible says a foolish nation, oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh. But the problem is that they are so entitled, and they're accustomed. They have not had they just like how they raise their kids, the vast majority of them, they're not accustomed to the word no. So when
Mm-hmm.
they're being told, no, you cannot have this, no, this is our way of healing, they have a hissy fit, and they carry on like children, like babies. And it's like it enrages them, because they're not accustomed to it. It's even down to the genetic level. They're not accustomed to not having something. Whatever
Mm-hmm.
they want, they just take. So it's like we're
Well,
seeing
and
the
and
correction
and
of that.
there's and we know that more on the level here of the United States, especially post slavery, right? In terms of what was purchased, with um, former enslaved land that was purchased, and then that land that was then ultimately stolen from many of our family members, many of our ancestors that was here. And so this isn't anything that's um out of the normal. And I want people to understand it's not out of the normal. This is just when you understand the practical situations that's going on, now you can start to decipher why these things are done. Because we would say, oh, it's not a big deal, or it's just normal, right? And there's really no normalcy. It's just that we have been so conditioned with wickedness that they would say, oh, that's fine. That's just, it is the way it is. And that's not the reality of things. The reality is, look, you're going to reap what you have sown. And they've sown these things for 400 years, 500, 600, right? And guess what? There are nations that did not know Jacob like these nations had, that enslaved Jacob, right? And those nations that saw, okay, you did the wealth from the wicked, now you're going to pay up, because now you tried to do the same thing to us. You have to understand, what are they saying in Russia, or for Russia? They want to reduce Russia. They literally want to wipe Russia off the map. That's what they're saying. They want to wipe Russia off the map and then balkanize Russia like they did Czechoslovakia. I mean, do people understand how big of a threat that is?
Oh, that's a huge threat. Um, yeah, I mean that's nothing to play with. I don't know how and where they're getting this power to balkanize Russia. I mean, Russia's pretty much almost the size of America.
Yeah.
We have like they have like twice the soldiers we have. So I don't know in what world they think they're gonna just go in there and balkanize
No, I
and
mean,
stuff.
you gotta go back and look at TV. They've been taught that stuff. Superman
Hmm.
come to save the day.
Yeah.
And like what's that movie Karis I mean, Mission Impossible. They
Hmm.
always come off on top.
Tom
Always
Cruise.
come off on top.
Yeah.
Who
They're
else?
flying on they're flying on the sides of airplanes.
Exactly.
Like that's realistic. Man, get
But
on out of
you know
here.
what? But the thing about it is, like with Sister, I have to say Sister Sharp. Well, Sister Sharp and Chantel just spoke about sorcery. That stuff has taken on a whole different plateau.
Hmm.
Uh, Now, I was in Africa for a total of I don't know, 2 weeks, 6 weeks. And I'm doing what I need to do and everything going fine. Carrie shows up or shows up. They'll tell you. And we was all kind of frustrated for some reason. We just couldn't put our finger on it. I was sick. Carrie like, Mike, you okay? I'm like, no, bro. Carrie like, Mike, don't eat the fish. I'm like, hey, man, the fish was tainted. I got messed up. Boom. But when we was there, those last 2 weeks, and this sorcery that we some people think it's just a myth. No, that spiritual attack is real. Once I got back to the States, it seemed like everything kind of leveled off. Still some frustration and things of that nature, but my health and everything, boom, all right, boom, went right back. I don't think we want to really truly take that sorcery stuff for granted, because there's a change in power that's happening, and the devil knows, hey, if these people continue to rise, we fall. We spirit, they flesh. Rojo, earlier you was talking about you was talking about how some guy in St. Louis took out Michael and things, and how you was like showing respect for the brother. Yeah, I mean, I understand exactly what you're talking about, but at the same time, we're being saved spiritually above all things. They may kill us in the street and things of that nature, but we've been saved spiritually. They are getting off on a fleshly, what do you want to call it? They just getting off on the flesh. Or he was all in his rights because they made the laws. The laws are built for them, not for us.
Hmm.
It's not built for us at all. It's built for them. So I mean, I'm pretty much like Rojo. I have a contempt against the laws. They say, hey, this is for the betterment of the United States. That's crazy. All of this stuff is sorcery. Now, this sister, she comes out, talk about she remixes the national anthem. Now everybody hitting the ceiling with it. Now, whether it was for publicity or not, that remains to be seen. But the fact that she said something that resonated with Black people, and they understand it because they felt it, they lived it, and they're a descendant of it. All of this stuff is absolutely sorcery used against our flesh. Each and every day we fighting against wicked spirits, because they know who we are. Now, am I wrong?
No, that's it. You have to understand the spiritual apparatus feeds into the physical one. That's how that goes. And there's a lot of things that has to happen in terms of the physical apparatus to manifest what that spiritual manipulation that was done or being done. right? These folks know good and well the spiritual manipulations that they do. They just want to act like they don't operate in the spirit. No, they operate in the spirit all the time. Because
All the
why?
time.
Because why? They put it in our eye gates, our ear gates, and they understand, hey, say what we say, because at the end of the day, that ends up cursing you. That's how
Mhm.
this thing goes. Now these other nations, they are like, we're not doing what you're doing. We don't want to do that. And now look, these other nations are straight up banning and outlawing different things. Did you not just see in Mali? They said they banned French
Oh yeah. Yeah.
as a natural language.
Oh no, I ain't know
They
about that now.
they banned it as a national language. Why?
Wow.
Because they understand when you're speaking something that is not your language, you are literally condemning yourself.
The cultic language.
And we do it all the time here. We condemn ourselves without even condemning ourselves because of what we are expressing. Look, do you not know that's why they wanted you to get rid of our language when we came on over here? Every other nation, hey, that's fine. You can bring your language. They don't care. They don't have problems when, folks from
They
China
don't
are
have
still
problems
speaking
when,
Chinese.
folks from China are still speaking Chinese.
Mm. Yeah. I
They
mean,
don't have problems with that. They don't have problems when Arabs are still speaking Arabic. But come back and you're saying mambo mambo, hijambo, mambo poa, pole
Tsunami.
pole.
the Mumbo VP.
No, exactly. Come back. And then they're looking at you like, yo, why are you speaking that? That's a direct. Here's Mike's word of the day. That's a direct threat.
Oh, you got jokes. You got jokes. Now you want to be funny. Okay.
That's that's a
Hold on.
direct.
Give me 5 minutes to get into my comedic world.
That's a direct threat to them because why? You're doing something that is natural to you. So if you're doing something that's natural to you, even phonetically, then you're gonna do other things.
Like surviving the heat is natural to us. Oh, I'm sorry.
So so look, we're look. I think we're way past that topic. I think we're getting into more meat. Instead of low hanging fruit. But this is the meat,
Oh, okay.
right?
I'll bring it back, brother Karras. You're right. As soon as you take a man's language, his culture, you drive that man to madness. And
Mm-hmm.
we, all of us, are, again, we all are assimilating cultures. In the Caribbean or in the Americas, in South America, we're speaking Spanish. It's like we're fighting over cultures that we assimilated that aren't even ours, but we can't even get back to what we had once had.
No,
I
no,
mean,
no, no,
But
did you
bro.
not see? Did you not see that in they cloned Tyrone? Assimilate to avoid or assimilation to avoid annihilation. That's literally what it is.
yeah.
The curse of Balaam. That's what it is. They're literally showing you the curse of Balaam.
No, but
But
I'm
you
with Michael. I'm with Michael. I'm sorry, Karis. I'm with Michael on that one. All Great Britain, they're going to get theirs. I mean, they have a heck of a storm headed their way because they put this stuff on us. Now, I'm not giving America no pass because they went too far with us. But those spells, like Michael said, that Great Britain put and set out there and just set that in the ether and brought it over here. I mean, because whatever little hoodoo they were doing had gotten a lot of us killed. So, and got a lot of us lost, and it's gonna be some more of us that's gonna be killed. So I mean, nah, they're gonna get theirs out there too.
Oh yeah,
Well,
I'm quite sure they're gonna get there. Shoot, that's where the United States is from. I mean, it's what do they call it? Anglo, Anglo.
Anglo-Saxons. Yeah,
Yes, yeah.
yeah. But understand,
It's so
understand.
funny.
understand.
Oh man,
I was just saying, nobody could hear me at all. I was trying all these different headphones, so I was just asking if you guys could actually hear. I don't have any headphones on now, so
Well,
I'm just gonna.
it's still the same.
yeah. Now we're
When you,
now we're picking up.
Picking up.
do you have another device on?
Yeah, actually, but you're gonna have to send the link to me, Karis, because I don't think it's in the chat anymore.
Let me. I'll
Let
put
me.
it in
I'll
the
put it in the
private chat.
private chat.
Yeah, but that's sorcery stuff. That is, I think we need to be really truly um on guard against that stuff because it can do damage. I mean, we just look at our forefathers. I mean, we seen what happened with them. You know,
Well, if you didn't know, they actually had a no kidding wizard. Oh man, and I know folks will probably have the information because I'm trying to get this up at the top of my head. The name eludes me, but he was actually on like one of the royal councils, one of the queens. I don't know if it was like the first Queen Elizabeth or like Queen Victoria. One of them had commissioned him to really formalize the English language. And when he did so, there was actually a lot of spells within the English language that's used and utilized because, for an example, right? All right. So bless, right? You are blessed. However, in French, blessé means to hurt. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes. Bless,
it means to hurt.
yeah. In French, it means to hurt or to have pain.
Mm.
Do
Wait to
you
think
get
about.
do you
I'm
get
sorry, bro.
do you get what I'm saying? So you have a phonetic impact and well, what is it? Who is it? You get what I'm saying? So then your whole language construct is literally based on cursing or a curse of people or a cursing of, you know, peoples utilizing the language. Exactly. Thank you, Avi. Injured or wounded.
Mm.
So you see, this is why we don't even understand these things. We're just operating in them. And we've been operating in really our demise. But now in this time, we're starting to realize, wow, we've been operating in our demise and haven't even realized it. And so you have to so then you have to understand, why are they so scared? See, they're scared because they see an existential threat, a real and present danger,
Hmm.
a real and present danger out of the East. Ukraine, to them, they know it's not going to stop. We already said it wasn't going to stop. We already said, no, this thing is going to start there and then it's going to envelop the whole world. But it was going to fester and fester and fester because why? They want it to stop. They want to do their defeat in Ukraine, you know, and that is where they understand, look, they're scared now. Everything that they were supposed to have, short of actual direct conflict and direct involvement, is not working.
I mean, you got what is that? Isaiah 14:14. Hunter Ton said he gonna be just like the Most High. I
Right,
mean,
can you guys hear me now?
oh yeah, you real loud now.
Oh, cool. Wow, my phone? Really?
Time.
But how when he said he's going to be like the Most High, yeah, this is a demonic spiritual system. Every day, Sunday through Saturday, is to a particular god, and a lot of people don't even know that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is one of them. Thursday is devoted to the god Thor, the one you see in the cartoons, the movies.
Mm-hmm.
That's and
Yeah,
you look
that's
up,
right.
you look all that stuff up. You'd be surprised how much demonic stuff is in the scripture. Said it.
Hey,
Wednesday is
so it's
Odin's
Saturday
day.
Yes,
so,
Saturday too.
and Sunday, because remember,
Sunday. Sunday
Sunday
is Sunday is the day of the sun. You worship the sun.
Saturn. Yeah, Saturn's day.
Saturn is Saturn,
and
and Wednesday is Odin's day. The moon is obviously Monday is the worship on Moon's day, Luna, whatever,
and
the goddess.
When
and
the
you remember Monday, I mean not Monday, but Sunday, that's really what got us really in big trouble with the Most High, because we're turning our backs to the temple to acknowledge and worship the sun. I'm just saying.
Hmm.
oh, ain't no telling, because you got the Yorubas, they still do ancestry worship. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, y'all. I mean, what you call? He's one of the. I ain't gonna call his name, but there's a lot of Yorubas. They still do ancestry worship, and some of them claim to be Israel. Still, they know who they are, but at the same time, they're doing things that's that's demonic.
Hold on, wait a minute,
But
Michael. Are you sure that Yorubas are part of us? Are you sure about that? The Yorubas? I mean, I
Yes,
know they're not.
yes, they are.
Yes, they are. Yeah,
Mhm.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, that's cool.
yeah. And so, I mean, uh, let me put it this way, bro, Joe. From my little research, I'm not no doctor. I haven't went out there and did no. I don't the DNA thing. Uh, I, hmm. A lot of the brothers believe in that E1B1A. I mean, it may be good, but it's the Torah holds more weight, and so I don't want to look at all of that stuff as it's the scriptures. But if you stick to the scriptures and find, and Yah said what his people going to be going through, and that's what I base it upon, you know.
Oh no, and I feel you. And I'm right there, right. No, I'm right there with you, brother Michael.
Mhm.
I really don't put too much stock in the E1B1A,
Yeah,
because a lot of that stuff could be fixed over, and I think even Jacoba kind of said that, but
mutations and all that stuff.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so, you know,
exactly. If you added a couple of more letters and numbers, we're monkeys. I mean, so nah.
Uh,
I'm trying to be
he
funny.
said it. I didn't this time. Okay,
you got
let
you got you got Ooga Booga, and now you add a couple more letters. We're monkeys. Oh my goodness.
like
But
when you said
Who
on,
did the trick?
you
Who
know,
did it?
I mean,
hey, see, yeah, y'all are bad. Y'all are stirring the pot. Hey, y'all put that thing back on there and let's get serious.
if you look at everything about this system, not the world, it's the system, because it's the Catholic. Well, like was it like 400 years ago? They added 2 more months to the year, January and February. If you do the research, you'll see that they literally went in and added 2 more months to the year. So now it begs the difference. Like, well then, what is the original calendar looking like? Because we're used to a year. I mean, what we would call 12 months in a year. Before it was that, it was only 10. Look it up. I kid you not.
Doesn't 10 mean the completion as well?
Because when they came up with 31 days.
Mm. But I'm saying in the Most High's numerology. I'm not talking about their numerology, but I know that obviously you have numbers that are sacred, and I think the number 10 means completion. If I'm yeah.
I thought it was 8.
Hey, Sister Chantel, I'm not trying to be funny with you when I say this, But for what your country did, I think y'all gonna get it before we do. I
My
think Britain is gonna
country.
get. Well, I mean, not you, where you live at. I'm sorry, but
I agree with you. I've been saying this country has been living cushy for so long. We don't have natural disasters like that.
Excuse
It's
me,
like the whole
what do you mean by
cushy. Shut up, you. That's a way of saying that you're living good, isn't it? You're sitting on a velvet cushion. You lot don't
I thought you
have
meant
that
cushy could
saying.
mean something else. Comfortable, you mean?
No. It means comfortable, sitting on the purple velvet cushion. You've been sitting cushy.
yeah, God, not the
Wow, I
purple,
never thought of that. Like
yeah, God,
until
not
you
the
just mentioned it.
not the purple leaves that you burn in the cigar paper that
No, I
puts
wasn't
out
even
those
going
strange.
there.
No, but these are the
Brother
things
Cass is about to lose it.
happening. I mean, this is stuff.
See, it's the English language.
This is the stuff that's in, all of us on a global scale. I don't care where we at.
No, but Michael, that's what I was telling you. Where Chantel is at, they're going to get theirs. I mean, all of
Well, I
that
mean, God
sorcery.
said the nations. It seems like wherever we are located at. I mean, like, you know.
No, I agree. I hear what you're saying, Michael. But I know what I know, and I understand what Rojo's saying. Because, excusing the word cushy, we've been sitting pretty. This nation does not. We don't really have natural disasters like that. This nation has literally been avoiding everything, and
Except for the cuisine.
except for the what? Say? What did
You
you
said you had no
say?
natural disasters. I said except for the
So
cuisine.
the cuisine, yeah, exactly. Well, their cuisine anyway. But
Y'all was getting
we've got something coming to us. We've got something. This nation has got something really big coming because I just kind of feel like they instigated a lot of things. A lot of the wickedness, and yeah, Americans came from this nation, and I'm sorry to say, but like, which is probably one of the reasons why they are saying what they're saying about slavery. But the best and brightest did not leave these shores to go there, nor did the best and brightest leave to go to Australia. We already know what Australia was. It was like a penal colony. In America, you had other criminals of a lesser degree, but they weren't the most educated. As much as they want to play and pretend like they were, they weren't. They were the lowest of societies. That's why they structured their system about racism. They couldn't structure it on class, not until they got to a certain time in history. But they couldn't structure it on class because they were the poorest. They were the lowest. They weren't of high status. The people that are of high status, unless they ended up losing all their stuff, they weren't leaving their castles and their lands and everything else like that to go wallow in mud, as they would put it. We don't know what's on that side of the world. We're not going to do that.
But they got taught. I mean, it was the Egyptians that was teaching them, the black Egyptians. I mean, that's how they got taught. I mean, and then they turned around, and got educated, and said we need to turn these tables. These people living on the continent that has everything we need or we want.
Yes, not neat.
Yeah.
Man, I want to take my meager resources and go out there with you and Karis whenever y'all go out there again.
Where?
And out there to yeah.
I'm about to leave. I gotta go. There's some sites I gotta do, and because there's some equipment I gotta buy there, and yeah, I'm trying to get, what is this, June? What is this, July? I'm trying to get back there in the middle or end of August. I just gotta go money back up real quick.
Hey, look. I'm getting a feeling. So take it for what you call me a quack, for what you around this fall, this autumn, whatever y'all gonna get done or get doing, y'all need to get somewhere and just sit down for a minute because I think it's gonna crank up really bad around this fall. I mean,
yeah, it is. And that's a known fact. I mean, yeah, it's going to crank up. It's going to crank up. and that's a given. And I
Well,
agree with you on that.
we don't know what also is gonna be cranking up, because now they're also saying that they want to bring the cookie on back. 4 years
gosh.
later, they want to bring that. It's the next iteration, right, on election cycle year.
Right,
Oh
Let's.
my
right.
gosh, they
You're
must
saying
be so bored.
you're saying right as
They're so
Bronny,
bored.
right as Bronny had a cardiac arrest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be cooking on up. But they're also, look, as they're getting to formalize this BRICS, the gold standard of what they're gonna do. Um,
Now
you
that's
know,
concerning.
yeah. Now that's gonna be. Do not sleep on that, family. That does
Yes.
directly affects us. That
Yes.
directly affects us and
What are you
everybody.
talking about? Sorry.
The BRICS gold standard.
Oh,
That
mhm.
Yeah. On top of that, you also now have rice, and that's going to be a crisis.
No, no,
I'm
no,
just
Karis.
cooking mine right now. Actually, I remember what you
No,
said yesterday.
Karis.
You
no,
ain't
no,
wrong, bro.
but
I,
look, your Copa said the same thing. Rice is going to be a crisis. Y'all better stock up. I
no,
don't
no,
even
no,
care about rice. I eat
it's
noodles.
prices right now. The guy, it was a Spanish guy. He said, "Amigo, why is it so high?" I'm like, no, I don't work it, but I knew why. Because I look at rice prices because I was buying rice and sending it to my mother. This 20 pounds, one of the 20 bags. 20 pounds will cost you roughly around about $10. About a month or two ago. You going in now? It's almost 20.
Mm-hmm.
$20.
Yeah.
Yeah, and see, because what India did, they said, "Oh, we see what's about to happen." But the thing is, Karis, is this: what do you think India get their rice from?
Tanzania.
Thank you.
Hey,
Exactly.
Mikhail, you have about a 50-pound bag of rice in your cupboard, man. You fronting. I know you do. You got to sell me some of that.
Hey man, that's
Hey man, I got that wild rice if you
but
need it,
listen,
Rojo. I
Yeah.
got that wild rice.
He's like, I got that white, I got that brown. Hey,
I
I
got
got
that
that
basmati. I got
I
that
got
basmati.
yeah.
I
Karen
only
said,
do
Karen
I
said,
only do basmati rice.
Karen said, I got that brown.
I got that WMD rice.
hey man,
Make
let
you
me tell you
holler
something.
for that rice dollar.
Do you know they got black rice out here too? Black rice. I got it in my cabinet right now.
That's what I
Black
said.
Black
Never
rice
had
is
it
really
before.
good for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mike has a rice trap house.
Yes, I
Hey, but between Mikhail and Lil Bro, one of y'all gonna have to give me y'all's cash app because I'm gonna send y'all some money. I want y'all to hook me up with some of that rice. I ain't even
He's,
playing. I ain't even bull calling.
that's my
he's hey, Rojo,
I got
Rojo,
cousins too. I got two schools
Rojo.
of
He be
cauliflower
like,
rice too.
I got that rice hookup. Holla if you hear me. I got the rice hookup. Holla if
Holla if you hear me.
No, it's I mean, I heard when I was there. No, I mean this is before Karis showed up, and I was like, no. And so I was going to the village, man, and I was talking to these people, man, and I met some people, and I like, look here, let's talk. They talk to farmers. Oh yeah, he's willing to sell. When I say sell, I ain't gonna tell y'all, I ain't gonna tell how much. They told me they'll sell it to me for. But I can say this: if I broke it down and things of that nature, we came up with it's over $1 million just for 1 acre of land of rice. That's it.
For rice.
Mike was on this rice game like 3-4 weeks
and
ago.
Karen's not lying.
He was like, man, we could sell these baggies of rice. I'm like, Mike.
Man.
Moving grains. Moving grains.
He said moving moving that grain by the grams.
You're right. Bagging it up. All they did was go back to the 90s.
I got that cut real long. I got that cut real small.
Hey, Chantel, you got to hook us up with the chickens. You got to bring us the chickens
Hey
or the
man, this
eggs.
rice is stepped on.
Hey, I don't want that stepped on mess. I don't want that plastic pellets mixed in with.
We don't get rice like that. I don't know what you're talking about. Them plastic pellet rice.
No.
The
For you, Chantel, you got to provide us with the chickens. I know
chicken.
y'all got plenty of chickens out there. You go to Greenwich, y'all got chickens.
Greenwich.
Real quick. She said rice has arsenic in it. That's true. That's the rice
What?
in the United States. It has arsenic in it.
It has what? Sorry.
Arsenic. It's
Your rice.
Yeah, from the chemical it gets into the rice. Yeah, that's in the United States.
If I didn't know any better, I'd swear they were trying to kill you over there.
Well, you know what? They
Hey, okay. Look, you, Chantel, you and Michael, you and Mikhail both debunked me. So I didn't. I said I wasn't gonna argue with y'all. I told you they're trying to kill us off over here. I told you.
No, because the brothers there was telling me like the chicken farms, they trying to move in the steroids. So what I did, I Googled it and I showed them. I said, this is a chicken breast in the United States. I said, this is your chicken breast. I said, you don't want the steroids because you all are going to have adverse reaction to it. Now, when Karis was there, Karis interviewed the doctor from the village. And he was like, diabetes is something else there. And in my mind, I'm thinking, what? As hard as you all work?
Hold on, Mikhail, you talking about steroids and chickens? Are you serious?
Yeah, they got it here. You're not, brother, didn't you see the chicken breast in the store? That chicken breast
look like a turkey breast, yeah.
Look like
you lot's chicken. I saw the size of it. I was like, what is that? Like, one I saw looked really veiny as well. I'm like, that chicken has been working out. It died, lifted weight.
Sandwich, I had it.
But they're pushing those steroids into Africa. But now, because me and Karis and Ora wasn't with us. This is when we first went out. We was on our way to Dodoma. And that's when I was like, man, and I seen myself, man, this chicken leg is long. It wasn't steroids. You hear what Karis? Oh no, this when we come to find out it was a farm-raised chicken, free range. And I mean, and you can literally taste chicken. Now you know what I mean? You can literally taste the chicken. And I'm like, wow, okay.
What does your chicken taste like?
Well, I can't explain it now. I know, from back in the days, and you could tell when there's a difference taste in foods and things of that nature. So I mean, if you just for what they're doing or trying to do is to chemicalize Africa, but it's going to be a battle for the nations because, man, I mean, the rural areas. You can't. It seems like it's going to be an impossible task for them to do because of communications. That's one of them, and Africa's not built up like that, which I think is a good thing. That's just me. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, that's actually.
I agree with you as well.
It is kind of funny how they were like, "Oh, let's underdevelop it," but now we want to develop it, and we can't underdevelop it. Develop it because we.
Hey, but wait a minute. No, but wait a minute. They do have those unoccupied cities out there now. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much there because they know they need to get to that particular. They need to get to that continent. Period.
Do you remember that Australian woman said they want your land, but with you not on it? I remember that was about 2 or 3 years ago, before the thing that happened. And that's what they've been trying. See, the chemical, the thing that they released in 2020 was supposed to be their crowning achievement, to literally underpopulate Africa, and it didn't work. In fact, it had the opposite effect. You'd think that they would wake up and realize, you know what? Every time we do something to these people, it seems to boomerang back onto us. But no, they're so hell-bent, and I mean literally hell-bent, on trying to eradicate melanated people, but more specifically Africans, and definitely Israelites. They are so hell-bent on that. And it's like, it's literally, it's every time they may kill off a few. We'll hear in the news or, you know, whatever, how so many people died. But let me tell you something, for even if they manage to, you know, chemically mess up some Africans or whatever, right? For, let's say, about maybe 1,000 of them that they managed to harm, I guarantee you the Most High is going to be like, oh, you want to play? For every 1,000 of my people you're going to mess up, I'm going to take like 500,000 to 1,000,000 of yours. You're already small. You're already in decline. And then you want to go and do this. And they already know who we are. And they know what time this is. And they know everything, which is why they're acting crazy. But it's like they can only be true to themselves. And they're not going to change. That's why it says, we would have healed you. There is no healing them. There is no saving them. They're literally destroying themselves. And we're just sitting back and looking at this. And we're like, what is wrong with you? Are you not really dumb?
Hey,
You know?
Let me pose this to you. Let me pose this to you. And do you all remember? I'm gonna go to the movie first. Then I'm gonna go to reality. They cloned Tyrone, man. They was sitting at the chair and they were eating chicken, right? They was in a restaurant eating chicken. And everybody started laughing and stuff.
They're so disrespectful, though.
No. Listen, I'm gonna show you something. Now, do you remember a couple of years ago? They had this particular restaurant had this chicken sandwich everybody was loving.
Popeyes.
Oh my goodness.
Popeyes, yeah.
And what now? But what had happened? What had happened? Was it laughter or was it anger? What happened? What were they doing?
Was anger. They were fighting.
Exactly.
Yo, oh my gosh, you're right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yo, that's crazy.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, brother. Because all he did, he reversed it. He just said, all I need you brothers to do is think. That's all that brother was doing who produced that movie. I just want you to think. Take this situation and reverse it. They was laughing in the movie. But in reality, they was up there fighting over that thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you know, I do know that they do have chemicals like nicotine. It's in the cigarettes, and McDonald's had that chemical in their food because they want to keep sales up. Yeah. So my point of saying it is, not only are we dealing with sorcery, we're dealing with chemicals that can and mess with your line of thinking.
That's still sorcery. That's still sorcery. That's literally, when you read Isaiah 47, that's literally there. You've got two different elements going on in Isaiah 47. You've got, it says, by your sorceries and enchantments. Enchantment means to chant, to literally be doing spells, casting spells, your media, what they put on the airways. So they're literally enchanting you while they're putting their chemicals in their sorcery, pharmaceuticals, pharmacy. That's all it is. It's literally using the media to push their chemicals, which is enchantments and sorcery.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. I mean, it could, yeah. I mean, we can equate it, but I was looking more so you know, something you could see. That's all I was saying. And you know, not saying it's not sorcery, because anytime you sit around here thinking about how to have a particular pill that can have suicidal tendencies, and all it takes is, well, you know what? If that's the case, let's take this chemical out and let's just make it a suicidal pill. We give it to these people, they go kill themselves. This is the stuff that they think about. We don't think about their things. When Carrie was talking to the doctor and we was talking about the AIDS medication, because AIDS is kind of rampant there. Mm-hmm. And so we
in Tanzania?
Yeah. Huh? Say it again.
In Tanzania.
In Africa.
Yeah, in Africa.
Sad.
And so we said, no, they got it now where you got a pill, you know, you take once a year. They said, what? They didn't know. They did not know. I mentioned Dr. Seeley and all that. They did not know. They fight to keep our people in the dark
Ignorance.
closet ever.
Well, what does the Bible say about lack of knowledge?
Yeah, you're right. But one thing I would say, when we got ready to leave, the sister that we hired there, she did not know that Karis and Oral had left. She had I don't know why in the world she didn't know that. Like we were telling you they were leaving. And that's just a little, she just literally started crying. I said, sister, you straight? She said, yeah. It just when y'all brothers, y'all share so much knowledge about what we can do as a people. Because I seriously believe that girl, I think she knows she's Israel. She said there's something special about us.
No, hey, Mikhail, I got to interject, brother. Even the Gentiles, the heathens, our presence, they have a addiction to our presence, and whenever we take ourselves away from them, they go batsh
Oh,
mess
no,
crazy too.
she's not
I
heathen.
mean,
She Israel.
They do. I've seen it firsthand. They really do go crazy. They're terrified of us leaving. They're terrified. They even talk about it on social media about you're trying to segregate yourself. I'm like, you lot were doing this for centuries. This is what you were doing, and you were doing it. You still do it with certain places. You want it to be only you, but you want to be able to have your spaces, but then come and invade ours. But you, again, like I said, this entitlement, you want to come and go as you see fit. And we have to stay within the confines of what you've allowed us to stay in. But it's like they can't, they couldn't, they know they can't survive without us. They know this. And the fact that whenever we talk about leaving, it troubles them because I know that they know that there is a judgment on them. And I think that is initially what bothers them. What's going to happen if they're not here? They know that we are their human shield. And it's like, if there was no black people, what would happen? And a lot of people, because there's the pecking order, you can't turn around and tell me that you've got the next ones up. I'm not going to say who they are, but we all know the social ladder, the social pecking order that we fall under, the PC people being at the top and we're at the bottom and everybody else in between. But the next one, if we're gone, you can't turn around and tell me that the next one up ain't thinking, oh, what's going to be my status? What am I going to be? If they're gone, that makes me yeah, it does.
Yeah,
And
it
then
makes you
the
then.
next,
Yeah.
Well, and if you look at it, like I was saying, everything about this world is the money. And when I say this, and especially upon Israel, I mean, look at this. I mean, from the foods with Dak Nabbit to the hair. If a woman went around here wearing wigs and everything, let me pose this to you. And if I'm crazy, let me know if I'm crazy. Now go find me a pill. Why is it that you go on the internet and you YouTube or either Facebook, and they always showing black women fighting, and they always grab their hair and the wigs come off. I have never seen so many angry black women. I mean, coming up forcefully, ready to fight a man, and 9 times out of 10 knowing that you ain't gonna win that fight and things of that nature. And I see the same spirit in Nigeria. Nigeria is big on wigs now. They're very big.
So is South Africa.
And that's what
bad.
And then majority of those wigs, guess where they come from? The hair, India.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what did they have to do? All they got to do is pray on that hair, and you go lay it on top of your head. Now, look at the attitudes that Nigerians, and if you look at some of their movies, they try to base their movies off African American lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm serious. Look at it.
yeah, yes, they do. What's it called?
Nollywood.
Nollywood, yeah.
Yeah, Nollywood. And so it's not a good thing. I mean, when I say my mother used to get up every morning and do her own hair. And that's something we were used to. So, you know, we got me and my brother, that's how we learned how to cut hair. We bought some clippers, started lining one. Then eventually I went over to the razor blades and everything. My brother, he just stuck with the clippers. But that's how we learned, just looking at our mother. My mother never wore a wig.
My mom hasn't ever worn one either.
But you come here, oh man, please. These wigs are like they be like they spend top dollars for these wigs. And that's all of West Africa.
And it's so sad, Brother Mike, because the hair doesn't even match their natural hair, and it just looks. Listen. I'm not. I know it. Let me shut up.
Hey, God,
do go on.
God, you're going in the right place, but you got to remember they use a lot of cake soap too, so they're getting that hair to match their lightened versions of themselves.
Oh yeah, the lightning and that. Like I see people. That's big in Jamaica. Unfortunately, I mean.
Yes, it is.
Vibes Cartel. He looks crazy.
What?
They look like what we call them? Duppy.
Duppy.
Him look like a duppy.
But the one thing about it, once they lighten their skin up, it's the last thing they need to be stepping into because they never faint. And
what's that? Sorry, what needs to be the last thing they step in?
The sun.
Yeah, I literally was with a Nigerian woman. We used to go sauna, and I'm telling you, she sweat more and was redder than the white woman there.
Carrie,
how much
are motels out there? I need to get out there right now.
Well, you can do. What can you do? You can do.
Rojo, you just interrupted Michael. He hadn't finished.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Go to Africa. I mean, my thing is, go ahead, brother. I'm serious.
I'm sorry.
I forgot. I forgot. They have Airbnb that you can do. You just have to be careful with that. You know, because there's some stories. We could talk about that offline, but you just have to be careful with those the Airbnbs. But you know, you can find some things that's relatively priced. It just depends on what you want to pay. I mean, they have Hyatts, they have Marriotts, they have other high-end hotels, and then they have smaller end hotels.
Oh, now you know what? A dive hotel would be better than dealing with what's going on out here. I mean, at least for a couple of weeks.
Be careful what you ask for, because some hotels don't have, like, they have communal bathrooms.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, so be careful what you ask for.
Yeah, that's like college days. The college days wear slippers. I can't even. Community bathrooms is disgusting.
Then you know, I mean, you go to some, man. I don't know about the hotel we had had regular toilets, but some of them, and like I went to a bank. The bank had their toilets or something. You got to squat. It's like you got to take your clothes off.
Are you talking about on the continent?
On the continent.
On the continent.
So did you say taking your clothes off?
Yes.
God, yeah. They
have to.
Yeah, these folks go. They just dive on in their birthday suit.
Wow. It's an event when you got toilet.
Exactly. You fold, you have a little thing there. You got to fold your clothes, hang them on up, do what you need to do. And then,
that's usually what people do if they have an extreme, like they have a vindaloo, hot Indian curry. They're taking everything off.
So you said out there in Tanzania, you're jumping in a pool and taking a poop in the pool?
No, it's a hole, and you go squat over that hole.
Squat over that
hole.
You will be like it would appear that your back needs to be to the wall.
Oh my goodness!
Yes.
What happens when you have an upset tummy and that wall has been
they got
redecorated?
They got buckets of water for that.
There you go.
Oh gosh, no! Yeah, you cannot sanitize that enough.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, oh, this is why these fools are getting sick all the time.
Nah. And then they got a the sprayer that you got on your kitchen sink. You spray spray food off your plates and stuff. They got that in the bathrooms. I mean, it's right there.
Take yourself a mini shower.
Oh my goodness. God. Man,
no.
Just in case you get an unexpected
Uh-uh.
splash somewhere.
Yeah.
Look.
No.
Unexpected.
Now look here. Now I say this not to discourage anyone. Because now, but one thing about it, the brothers are always washing their hands.
Mm-hmm.
Always. I mean, you can go into a store. They got a bucket and they got and with water in it, there's soap right there. They're always washing their hands. Always. And I'm not saying that, hey, don't go because of the toilet situation or whatever. But they do have toilets, what we see today in America and things. But no, especially you get to the villages. I don't know. You got a hole that they dug in the ground, and you got a hut that you walk into, what they call an outhouse. Let's just do it that way.
Okay, but what do you do if a king cobra come up and bite you in the booty or the doorbells?
Yeah,
Then you better ask a villager
Then
to
you better
suck
be
one
like
out.
Paul.
And you
be
better
like
ask
Paul.
a friendly
Survive that bite.
villager to suck somewhere.
Oh. Oh,
Come on, man. I got a
no.
vivid imagine. I got a vivid.
hey, you better do a whole lot of digging.
No, that look, you can't have no friendly villager do that. Are you kidding me? Like if you get caught in the act, no man, they take it for something else. Remember, Kamala came and she started putting some ideas in their head.
What
Now
are you
they know
doing?
what this is.
Oh, God.
What are you doing to this American, and why is he sweating like this?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Well,
okay. He just gotta think like.
remember what that pastor was saying. Remember what that pastor was saying when they found out what the LGBT whatever what they do, and he was like with the poo poo.
The poo poo.
Yeah, the poo
Oh, you're
poo.
talking about that
Yes.
the Ugandan
Yes.
priest that put in the chat.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You better not be caught doing that, man.
I can't.
They,
I would quote him, but that would definitely get the channel shut down if I quoted
Now,
that
one
Ugandan.
thing about their toilets, you do not see flies around. You do not see no flies. They have people that's always cleaning these buildings or whatever. They go in and clean it. But I went into them. I went into an outhouse. You didn't see no flies. They had their rags up and everything, and things. But their cleanliness, no, that was top dog. That's top dog. They're gonna keep that area clean. They'll keep it covered up. So I mean, our brothers, was especially in the outer villages, they still growing food and everything. I mean, this their culture. Not, I mean, like I would say, don't drink the water. If it's not filtered, don't. I wouldn't drink the water because it still come out kind of brown if you you look at it. Brown. Yeah. Even though you may dig for a well, but my thing is, if you dig for a well, put your purification system on it.
So that sewage isn't coming from the. Actually, let me shut up.
I was gonna say, if it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, put it down.
No, because they do not have piping system like we got here. So that water is coming from the earth. It's coming from the earth now. It's not coming from. It's like it's leaking over from another system or something. No, it's coming from the earth. It's coming from the earth. That's the thing. And so I mean, I don't want the brothers and sisters to think that, hey, oh no, I can't go to Africa. You can, and you can live, trust and believe. If you got down to it, we can do it. I know that for a fact. It's just that we don't want to do it because we used to this. We used to our environment. That's what we're used to. So,
yeah, it's either you're gonna sacrifice we're gonna sacrifice our luxuries for peace.
Well, here's really a big thing with that. I'm gonna tell you this. The white folks that are moving on over there,
Mm-hmm.
they're going there and they're not sacrificing anything. They're
Okay.
getting whatever they're doing and they're building on up. And
I was gonna
they,
say that.
yeah. So don't think that that is gonna be like, oh my goodness, it's is this messed up? No, it's not, because
Mm-mm.
the problem that we tend to have is we think that we have to live in those conditions, and truthfully speaking, no, we don't.
I mean, let
And
me post
and
something to cares about that though. Now, this is the only thing I would say. I mean, because I don't know. Y'all said we going through the wilderness before we get to Israel. So now I don't, that's the thing I'm looking at, bro. I mean, I don't know.
well, technically, we're in the wilderness now.
Well,
You
that's
know
true
what I'm
too. I
saying?
mean, because I was saying,
So are
I was
we
saying
are
the
we
same
living in
thing.
out are we living in our house? No, I don't need to go to an outhouse. I'm living in the wilderness here in the U.S. I'm in Tampa. There's not many outhouses near me. You know what I'm saying? Maybe if 2 or 3 hours away, up in North Florida, there's going to be outhouses and some other folks that I don't want to deal with. But 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 I mean, but that's what we tend to think. We try to rationale that it's worst case scenario. It's always worst case. Well, the worst case scenario is if we make it a worst case scenario. But when we go back into the land, we're going back with skills, right? Skill
Yeah.
sets that are there to provide, you know, that infrastructure improvement, that innovation. And that's what they want. They don't want you to come through and just be like, hey, all right, thanks for living how we live. No, they want to know, okay, how do we make our own ceramic toilets? You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? How do we make sure that we have, what we need to have? Can you tell us that? Can you show that to us? Nobody wants to be inviting you over so you can be status quo. No, they're inviting you over so you can impart on them knowledge and understanding of what you have learned in your time in Babylon.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying on that because I was thinking, I was saying, shoot, this could be considered the wilderness, and I mean, uh, that's the thing.
Could be, but I don't know if I would agree with that. Simply because the Most High said He's going to plead with us, and it
I,
sounds to me that it's going to be an intimate thing. We don't have intimacy with the Most High in the land where
He
we've
said,
been held
and, and,
captive.
and that's why I was going to go with you on that, Chantel. Is that I don't believe that this is good practice for the wilderness. I think we're being prepared to go to
Mm,
the wilderness. So this is like because you know that Hamashiach had to undergo training before he came down here. I mean,
hmm
to Earth. Otherwise, he would have killed all of our ancestors. I mean, the way they were treating them. I'm just saying. So, I have to, kind of look at all sides. And to you, brother Karras, you live around Alligator Alley, or not far from it. So there are all kinds of porta potties lined up and down those streets out there, bro.
Oh man, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you all. I had got there was a bad accident back in March when I went down south, and it's one of those things. Um, you know, you get stopped on Alligator Alley, and I was about 30 minutes outside of Naples, and I still had another hour to go. I said, man, I'm glad that we had pulled over and used the bathroom, right at Fort Myers, because man, that would have been terrible.
was it a dark road?
No, well, well, we were on the road like around 5, 6, so it wasn't bad yet.
Mm.
But you get some creatures on out there. There's snakes and alligators on out there like crazy. They have pythons. You
Yeah.
know, yeah,
Critters.
don't, yeah, they'll have the critters.
America
Definitely.
just feels like Australia. There's too many things there that are trying to kill you. That's why I said this country is just it's too easy. For the most part, we don't have all them things that are trying to kill us. So
Tigers,
But
lions, Putin. Oh my.
hey, Sean, tell you,
exactly.
you're surrounded by water. All it takes is the right tsunami or pair of tsunamis, and all of that is underwater out there.
Oh yeah, man.
The nations are going to get theirs. I mean, all of them. Wherever Israel is located at, it seemed like that's what's going to get it. Because I was surprised to see Afro Indians in India.
Oh, the city.
What did you say?
The
You talking
CD.
about our people
Mhm.
in India? They're called the Siddi, SIDDI.
Yeah,
Hey,
something like that. Yeah, I thought it was ISSI, something like that. I could have misread it, but yeah,
City Bantu people
yeah.
from the Arab slave trade.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Say it again. What do you say?
The black people in India, they're called the Siddi, SIDDI. Those are our people.
are,
They
are,
also
are you talking about the untouchables in
No,
India?
that's how.
they're part of the untouchable is just basically for anybody that's got really, really dark skin, because
Oh,
that's
okay. I got because the reason I'm asking you because I know you have a lot of people from over there to come out there to where you are, and they migrate out there to. I mean, man, y'all are just as bad as the United States. I
yeah.
give up on trying to think about Britain. All I know is that y'all are in for some heavy mess because of what y'all did, and I'm not talking about you, sister. I'm just talking about where you live.
I know who you're talking about.
Well, let me do this. So I'm gonna have to get final comments in because I gotta shut this down by 11. So final comments.
Okay, I'll start first. For one, I'd like to thank you, brother, for having us up here. I'd like to thank you and Michael and Oral for the strenuous and tedious work that y'all do. It's really appreciated. And I hope the little pennies I contribute every month help y'all. I'm ashamed that it can't be more. I mean, but I'm going to work on that anyway. With that being said, yeah, y'all need to really keep up on, not y'all up here, but I'm just saying in the chat, need to keep on what's going on in the current events. It's getting really, really crazy. Just yesterday, they had a shooting in Cedar Hill, Texas. This medical facility got shot up. And then, not only that, after that, they had some naked white woman in California, jumping out the car, shooting at people.
Oh
And
my
then
gosh.
yeah, you had some other stuff going on before that. So it's getting really crazy. They're the ones going crazy. Let them go crazy. Do not pray for them. Do not play party to their mess. We need to stay holy, as the book says, and we need to stay to ourselves and pray. And if they come to us, like Kara said, they come to us humbly and in sincereness, and they're seeking guidance and help. We could do that because that gift is our Father's to give, not ours. So with that, I land. Thank you. I enjoyed it. I look forward to the next one.
Roger, when lightning's about to strike, you don't want to be nowhere near the vicinity.
Absolutely not. And you don't want to have four paper around your head either.
All right. Thank you, brother Rojo. All right.
I'll go next. It was nice being up here. Um, Thank you for having me up. I always get lost for words at this point. I don't know what to say. I just like hanging out with family, innit? I don't know. Wow. For the first time, I'm actually speechless. I really don't know what to say.
Well, I thank you and Rojo for not shutting my platform down.
Hey, I'm always on my best behavior. You've got me completely confused with somebody else. It's Rojo. Blame Rojo. He's not here right now, so I can
Yeah,
say.
I'm gonna say we were a little less grimy, which is good. You know,
Well, until we got down to the toilets.
yeah, till it gets to the toilets.
And who brought us to that depth?
Well, I was just explaining about the, you got to take your clothes off and you got to squat. I mean,
Yeah, man. That's not me. I'm too prim. I'm too prim and proper. I can't do something like that. Mm-mm. My knees will go anyway, and I'll probably fall in it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you don't you're gonna
That's
need
what
I'll be
yours.
like, whoa! And I'll fall backwards, and then it's all over. Everything's splashing everywhere. Ugh. No,
that is always our worst nightmare. I'm not gonna lie.
don't wear white.
Exactly.
Don't eat curry and don't wear white.
Hmm.
Anyway, it's been nice, and I love you all. Love you all in the chat, and I'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you, Sister Chantel. Shalom. All right, Brother Garth.
Thanks for having me, and everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day, and shalom.
All right. Thank you, Brother Garth. Brother Michael.
Man, I'm all stay home. We got to turn back around and meet again. So I'm just messing with you. When I was speaking about the sorcery, and I'm saying this to all Israel, be mindful, be prayerful about that. That is it's a greater spiritual attack on us, a great deal of attacks on us. And yet we're going to be we're going to get hit with it a lot harder than what we used to go through. I mean, everything about our life is a spiritual life. Everything about us.
Yes.
And so this is the things that's happening with us. And so we got to be mindful and prayerful and praying for your other brothers and sisters. And I will leave you on that. Just stay prayed up during this time of the end.
All right. Thank you, Brother Michael.
Hey, and I'll see you on another one.
In a few minutes. All right. All right. Shalom. All right, family. Yeah. Thank you for hanging out with us during this time. I just wanted to, switch things on up a little bit today. Got a good discussion and talk to the family, see what's happening out on the streets, understanding how things are working on out um, in this day and this time, right? But keeping each other encouraged. And so that's why I always want to make sure that we're doing that. Encouraging our brothers and sisters because we can easily become discouraged just because of what we're seeing and what we're going through. So, with that said, most High willing, we'll be back on tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll go over. It'll be Quest to Unite Africa discussion. And in that discussion, we're gonna focus. We'll have a focused discussion, and I want that discussion. We can focus in on crypto technology and what that means for us. We know how that goes, but now they're literally having a summit about this as we speak. Literally as we speak. So, as the world turns, right? What is on out there that we need to know how this plays on out? And really, will that even impact us? Or are we looking at that impact, more of it depending on them? So that's what we will do, just based off of, you know, what I'm seeing. We'll discuss. Hallelujah. Thank you, family, for supporting the channel. I appreciate it with prayers. Any support, I appreciate that. Thank you, family, for you know being mindful and understanding of where we're at in this time and what our responsibilities are for this time, because we're in a time really like no other. And the only thing that we can do is just pray and ask the Most High to lead us in everything that we're doing. So, with that said, family, Most High willing, I'll be back on tomorrow. And with that, Shalom, Salama, Siemi, Shalom, peace and blessings, Yasharel.